Welcome to the Magic Our Way podcast. I'm Kevin Smith, and now get ready for all the Disney there is. Turn up your mouse ears, kids. It's Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Lee.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana. And on this show, we invite you to feel the libation.
Feel it.
We are artistic buffs talking about Disney stuff, and this is the show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us. For this episode, we take a look at what has taken place during Bob Iger's first 2 weeks back at the helm of the Walt Disney Company. And look, this is your typical polished, practiced, pixie dust and Disney podcast. No, sir. We are not in the parks every day trying to tell you how this change in leadership has affected the cast members.
That's right, Kev. We're just here to drink, talk some Disney, and, well, maybe not drink as much anymore because I still can't believe this happened.
Ouch. So while we still drink up and fess up, all you guys have to do is listen up.
My name is Kevin.
I'm Danny.
I'm Eli.
And Lee here. And hey, if you want to visit Mickey and Bob, just give me a call. Let me do my job.
So enough of my jibber jabber. Let's talk about those 2 weeks. And here we are on the hub. And as I said at the beginning of this broadcast, is that we're looking at Bob Iger's first 2 weeks in office. Let's see what's happened. It's been 2 weeks, man. It's been pretty quick. Can you believe that? We blinked. He took office, and then all you know, it's like he's 2 weeks into the job.
Mm-hmm.
Craziness. A lot of news has come up, and so we're just going to go through and do a quick snapshot in. We'll do it by timeline.
Okay.
If we could, just because, I feel like I'm investigating things.
You investigate,
I'm
Kev.
investigating things.
This is deep stuff. It's heavy stuff. It should be looked into.
So it's like day one, licked Bob Chapek's tears.
That's right. Handed him a Kleenex.
Drank his blood.
I'm
and took
sorry.
his drink.
Tissue paper, because we're not sponsored by Kleenex.
Gave Magneto a high dap for
Had
framing
way
him.
with
Left him.
Chapek's wife in front of him.
Gave him a swift
Made his
pat
kids
on his
watch.
bottom.
Let the kids watch. Oh, man.
So yeah, let's take a look, man. It all happened on day one.
Iger Watch.
Day one, Sunday, November 20th, 2022.
Woo.
Chapek was informed that he was out, and Iger is in. That's where it all started, guys.
Damn.
This is where all this news started. This is where all the Disney fan universe just went nuts. And then the following day, things happened.
Things happen.
Things happened on the following Monday, November 21st, 2022. People talk about stocks, guys. The stocks went back up immediately. On Friday, just in case you're curious about the numbers, I know Lee likes the numbers.
I like numbers.
On Friday, exactly. I'll just together. On Friday, they closed at about $91.80 per share. And then on Monday, it rose up to about 9 to 10%. And then it closed Monday, having shot up to 97.58 cents per share.
Well, that's some faith.
Yeah,
in this
there's a lot
man.
of faith. People were posting graphs everywhere in the Disney fan universe.
What goes up
Cliff,
must
it
come
was
down.
just like
though.
a firecracker just went up there. It was like, stocks, yes, I invested.
I know this
I'm
man.
ready to go.
I'll invest in this man.
I trust this man with my Disney stock.
He'll make us rich again.
Y'all have stock? Y'all
In Disney?
Oh, yes, we do have stock in
we all
Disney.
happy about this news?
What, Bob Iger returning? Hell no. Like, Bob Chapek's biggest failure is he couldn't clean up the mess that Iger left him. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how anybody could be excited about this news, but let me put it like this. Do I think he's probably a better CEO than Bob Chapek? Absolutely. Do I think that this is his problem that he created? And I don't know in what universe that you call in the guy that made the problem to come clean it up, but here we are.
You clean up. It's like your kid.
Yeah,
Like, you made this mess. You clean it up. I'm not cleaning up after you.
I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna have to do it.
And anybody who's ever had a kid that you force to do it, know they do a crappy job.
Yeah, now we got to get the belt out. Who got whip Iger?
Start sweeping shit under the rug, stuff in the closet.
Oh yeah, throw the closet.
It's like, I clean the room, Mom. I clean the room.
threw everything
Attention
out.
to detail, Bob. Attention to detail. That's what Disney's all about.
Hey, man.
Come on, clean it up, baby.
Come on. Somebody sue Bob Iger that's from Marvel Executive or something, so that way he can have some trauma. This man needs trauma.
Trauma.
Yeah, he needs a true challenge. That way that could actually define his rate of leadership.
Dude, I was proud of the media. Like this last week, we've actually gotten stories that are like Bob Iger returns to clean up the mess he created.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they
that was
finally
coming out.
started putting some of this blame on him, as opposed to the White Knight returns to set it all right. They very messianic.
Yeah.
The way they spoke about it.
Now, let me ask you this, though. I mean, would you say that's mostly the fans that were being, all high and uppity, where the news, as you say, the media was not necessarily all hyped up on this? I mean, I know a lot of fans were happy, but I don't know about news organizations that were just ecstatic about it.
I don't know too many smart fans that really kind of understand where the wheels went off the wagons that were all excited about this. I think they were, well, this is better than what we got. I think they were like that, but I don't know that they were like, yes! This is exactly it. We're good to go from here on out. I never saw that.
Yeah.
I saw people who were like, well, Chapek was a klutz and he didn't know how to handle himself, so better the devil you know than the devil you don't know, kind of thing. That's kind of how I
did see
took it.
some extreme fan people say like, "Oh yes, thank you, fix this, fix that, thank you for coming back," like he was the next coming of Jesus, kind of stuff.
I mean,
to extreme, and I'm like, and just to clarify it there, he's like, our reservations on Iger does not necessarily mean that we endorse Chapek for what he's done.
correct.
Not at all.
So just to be clear on that,
Yes,
in
be
case there's any
objective.
mistakes. Yeah, I mean they're both equally guilty.
I wouldn't say
Ish.
equally. I think Bob Iger is exceptionally
Yeah.
more guilty. I think Chapek was a goof and kind of bumble-stepped his way. He wasn't charismatic. He didn't know how to handle himself and
he
made
had-
a lot of rookie mistakes.
But he had a lot of bad situations that happened that has
Oh,
not happened.
100%, 100%. And I would never want to, in the position that he was in, that was what's the old Star Trek now, the Kobayashi Maru.
Kobayashi Maru,
That
yeah.
was the Kobayashi Maru. If he would have done that and pulled it off and set Disney on the right track, he would have been the best person to run Disney since Walt.
But the only way to win the Kobayashi Maru is to cheat.
Exactly. And he cooked them books, didn't he?
That's right. That's right. Well, really quick though, with Lee's question, when it comes to what fans think, I'm sure that's like a high, varied level of opinions, right? But what he was saying also about the news and the media, I don't know, since Disney is such a big business entity, how all those things are interconnected. And you got to imagine if you have stockholders that are like big business people that are able to make this decision to force another guy out on that level to just bring in the old dog, I'm imagining they still have ties into media and everything as well. So I would definitely not trust that. That's just my opinion because that's money.
The way the media portrays it.
Yeah, that's just the instinct.
So you would say that a lot of the praise for Iger coming back would be purely from the fans,
Yeah, I mean, like
not so much the media. I agree. When I was researching this, I was like, all the articles seem to be pretty even keel.
cause, yeah.
It's like they don't want to go one way or the other because of that influence.
fans don't really care who's in charge as long as they fixed what the issues were. I mean, hell, Samuel L. Jackson could have been head of Disney and said, all right, I'm going to go ahead and fix all this for you right now. They'd do it. They'd be like, that's the best president of Disney ever had.
I would have been happy about that.
You would.
Oh, yeah, dude. I would have taken Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, well, But you know what I'm saying? Like, they want someone.
It's like, oh, wait.
These on these fast passes.
Yeah. You see what this buckle says? It's badass president.
Why is there trash on the ground? I'm on the ground and there's trash.
What is going on?
What is this?
Why is there snakes in my business?
Yes, I fired Cream Daniel, and I hope he goes to hell.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that's one thing that happened on Monday with Iger is that Cream Daniel, who is the Chapek's
Right-hand man.
ally, he was the head of the Disney Media and Entertainment Distribution, which is a key division of the company that was created by Chapek that frustrated a lot of creatives. He left on that Monday, the 21st. So speaking of Cream Daniel, I thought I'd throw that little factoid in there.
No.
That happened. And it went on to say that Iger says this. He says, and I quote, Over the coming weeks, we'll begin implementing organizational and operating changes within the company. It is my intention to restructure things in a way that honors and respects creativity as the heart and soul of who we are.
Didn't Chapek literally say the same thing with a different set of words?
Probably. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what he said.
You got that Goodfellas laughing there. I know him all of a sudden. That. Like, you might fold under question it, Henry.
I didn't hear any of that to all come to this happy place.
Well, it comes across terribly. Like, which creatives? Like, what creative people are we talking about? The people who are putting their social, political agendas above making good stories that are identifiable to all people, those creatives?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I don't know about you, but I haven't really seen a creative, well-done movie.
Not this.
Not in this phase of Marvel Entertainment.
No.
Not in Star Wars.
And
not,
that's an issue.
Animation is a mess. Like, so all these wonderful creatives who he's filleting when he says that.
Oh, wow.
So I stopped myself from actually saying it.
No, but it sounded really good when you did.
Yeah.
Daddy, what is filleting?
I just feel like Jerry Seinfeld. Who are these creators?
Yeah. Where do they come from?
Yes. Who are these people who are making these wonderful creative movies that everyone loves?
I believe that too, Daddy, because I think the business people have an idea of what creatives are and how solutions are creative versus creatives thinking about creative solutions.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
two totally different things.
When you hear that these are people, they're hiring people who are a knock against you as if you're a fan of the comics. They don't want you.
Right.
Who are these alleged creatives? That's what I want to know. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like when you hear about, we want diversity and inclusion. That's all we're about at Disney. I'm sure there's something that you're going to get to where they use the buzzwords diversity and inclusion because they love diversity and inclusion except in their theme parks because you don't see a lot of poor people there, do you?
No.
No.
Don't see a lot of, lower
Middle class.
kind of middle class kind of. You don't
You
see.
got that new ride coming. They got that new attraction. It's a homeless world.
Oh.
It's a homeless world.
Chester and Heston Welfare Alley is happening.
Chester and Hester's trailer park.
It's send them to Disney Springs. They can go to the Lego store.
Oh, I know. Chester and
Play with
Hester's KOA campground.
It's a dining
Not there's
plan.
anything wrong with KOA campground, but still.
It's the new
Yeah.
dining plans like government cheese. Go ahead, we got that for you. I mean,
Wonderfully
come on.
diverse, but God forbid
Yes.
you have economic certain. They don't want to hear from you.
Yes, hence prices rising all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, if Iger's using that line, that's like the business 101 scope of our business like playbook. It's you can't come in there and say what you really mean. You just have to hopefully say a bunch
jargon.
of big bunch of convoluted words that don't mean anything specific. But it just sounds really good when you put them all together.
It's like a word salad of like inspirational terms that when you break it means nothing.
It doesn't have a plan in it. It doesn't have a strategy. It just says, this is what we think you should hear. And it's like a real boiled down trailer, but doesn't tell you how bad the movie could be.
Well, and here's another thing for you. Like, so when Chapek took over as CEO, Iger stayed on until the end of 2021, right?
Yeah, that's
Chapek's job was to run the day-to-day operations of the park. What did Iger say he was going to do?
Coach.
No. Coaching was part of what he said he was going to do. He was going to go focus on the creative end of it. He was going to work with creators and coming up with their next projects and help them bring along content for Disney Plus and the movies and all that kind of stuff. That was what he was going to go focus on. It was Chapek's job to run the day-to-day. And he ran that out until 2021.
December 2021, yeah.
2021.
So there was still some influence up until that point, even though people say he took over earlier than that. Iger was still around.
Iger was still around, and Iger made it a point of saying he's doing day-to-day, I'm doing... And he was executive chairman, which meant he could overrule... not by himself, the board of directors would have to do it, but I mean, who's heading up the board of directors?
Stockholder?
No.
Iger,
He
was the executive...
to your point, who's the largest, or at least one of the largest shareholders has got to be, is Iger. Yeah, I mean, so he overruled Chapek on decisions. But the point we're getting off into...
Yes.
The point of the matter is that, look it up, Iger was the one running creative all the way up until 2021. Movies, especially movies with a lot of CGI and what you call special effects, Those take a while. We're never going to see a movie that was greenlit. The script was greenlit, made, produced, all that, post, all done during Bob Iger's reign. That you're not going. I mean, Bob Chapek's reign. You're not going to see that because it was 11 months. It was 11 months, and I'm not saying he would have done a good job because notoriously he is not a creative.
He's a data guy. It's known he's a straight data guy.
Yeah, that's what the knock on him was. But at the same time, I think he was also trying to take them away from, hey, we need to be, in the stories that we're telling, we need to be a lot more message-orientated than entertainment-oriented. I think he was trying to get back to, like, the one thing I remember being greenlit during the Chapek regime was the Deadpool 3 thing.
Right.
Remember, for a while, we thought Deadpool was gone. All of a sudden, boom, you get the announcement, Deadpool's coming back. And you're like, oh, wow, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. That was the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, not really researching this. That was greenlit.
That was definitely one of the things that was announced during his tenure.
Yeah.
Within 2022.
Yeah, unquestionably, he was the guy.
I mean, and we're defining his tenure specifically just Chapek, and I think you agree with this, Danny, that his tenure started January 2022.
Oh, 100%.
Officially, yeah. He's all on his own at that point.
Yes. His anything and everything could be landed right on his doorstep January 1st, 2022. Yes, absolutely.
The scary thing is like, let's say if you're Chapek, you just get it, like, I don't know how anything works, but you're behind, like, the biggest creative machine, like, made. It's not like there's only you and, like, 7 other people, and you got to figure out to make Disney run. Like, really all your job is to say, what is that? Show it to me. I don't know if I like that or not. Get your kid to come out and hang out with you. Say, hey, kid, do you like that? Does that, like, excite you? And if the kid was like, no, that's terrible. All right, let's scrap that. Do something. Like, if you're a data guy, I get that. You're about the numbers. You want to make sure that you get your bottom line, your profit. I totally get that.
But you know what? Some of the best theme park decisions were made by children of executives.
That's what I'm saying, right? Because we've come, and, like, so if you are not creative, you just need to come up with a nice, good-sized budget. Get someone else. Get your kid to come out there, or daddy, son, or daddy, daughter, there, whoever else. Have them come out there, and they rate it. Because that's the voice of the people, and that's what you're supposed to have speaking for you.
Was it Eisner's son gave us Splash Mountain? And then was it Iger's kid that gave us Seven Dwarfs Mine Train? Who saw Fantasyland's like, what is there for boys? And they were like, none of us thought to ask that in the meeting. Do something. Quick. Who was that I can't remember? It was
I remember that story. I can't remember. And somebody's probably shouting at their iPod.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So please remind us. Because we can't think of it at the moment.
Same thing about the Tom Holland Sony deal with Spider-Man, right?
Right.
Then some kid just said, yeah, you should do that. You should do that. So, I mean, I guess the point is that if you're a data business guy, I totally get that. It's just numbers. But, yeah, if you're like, we're going to
But there's more than just numbers. Yeah.
You got way more creative. The point is, you got way more creative people working for you because creative people don't know what the budget is.
So you're saying listen to them.
Listen to the right ones.
Yeah.
Like, make sure you've got people in charge that are making movies that are fan of the content.
Right.
That they're not in it to preach. They're in it to entertain.
But you can't blow.
Well, and it's to tell good stories. Period.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, I'll even take it to that basic simple because I think his feel is lacking.
But I know you're going to move on to the next point. But all I just want to state is this:
please.
You Disney, you own Marvel Comics, and then you own the movie studios. There is no more synergy there you could have than that. Like, that's it. You take the story straight, take it to the movie straight. The fans will say, oh yeah, we like this story, it was in a comic, now it's a movie, this is awesome. There's your money.
Boom.
There's your creativity. What you got to think about? That's straight data. I ain't even a data guy.
Like, you know what I would do if I was Bob Iger right now, I'd hire somebody. Just look, your job is to go back and read all those old Marvel comics, find the best proven story that works for each and every one of these characters, bring it up to us, and we'll go ahead and put it in for a script treatment.
Yeah, half the people that work at Marvel Comics are artists during the time when those stories were hot, or editors, or whatever. They have a wealth of like. You shouldn't mess that up. That's all I'm saying.
No.
I agree with you.
You know, to your statement, Eli, and you talk about data. It's like, you're right. That is data. Mm-hmm. And I even had a conversation about this at work in a meeting over then. But some people view data as just purely numbers. And there's a group of us like, data could be more than just numbers. Data could be exactly what you're saying. It could be like feedback from the guest. It could be that. But it's not just the numbers itself. It's like 44% or whatever. It's 55 or 100 or whatever. It's not that cut and dry. There's more built into it, which I think that's what he was lacking. He didn't have that other piece of the puzzle, the other data that he didn't consider outside of the numbers, because some people just think data is numbers. Data is ones and zeros. That's it. No, not necessarily. I mean, you have people taking surveys at the front of the park, all the time. That's data. Those aren't numbers. Those are honest responses from guests.
People, yeah.
Yes, but to that point, data can be manipulated. And like, take for instance what you just said about those surveys.
Yes.
They would ask you questions, but those surveys were always geared towards getting the answers that they wanted.
They wanted to hear. Exactly. Yes.
Fair.
They would be like,
Yes.
would you like to go ahead and skip to the front of the line and have a great time at the park? Or would you rather,
A T-shirt.
yeah, like for a nominal fee, would you rather skip to or would you rather, wait 3 hours to see your favorite attraction? And they would make it a way to where you would answer what they wanted you to answer. So data can be manipulated.
Absolutely.
And
And that's what they've been doing. And if you listen to the Disney Dish, Len Testa talks about that all the time. You can listen to this show. He talks about the surveys and how they gear the questions to get the answer that they want to support their whatever initiative they want initiate, which is crazy.
100%.
So if you want good data, you got to get honest answers. But then honest answers, not necessarily ones and zeros. It could be other stuff, emotional, whatever.
Well, that's the problem, is that they're not asking the honest answers. They're asking, they're starting with what they want to be true and trying to work towards getting that.
Well, I guess that is creative then.
Yeah. Hey! All right, the next day.
Iger Watch.
Wednesday. Yeah, I know, right? Iger Watch. Wednesday, November 23rd, 2022. Nothing to do with Iger, but Abigail Disney, of course, has something to say.
Oh, good Lord.
But I kind of like this little quote that she had. Because
she has some truisms there, but I mean, when all you do is criticize 100% of the time, I'm sure people are like, look at yourself in the mirror. But when all you do is criticize, it's kind of hard to take.
Right. It's kind of like Eisner, though. You may have like 1,000 ideas. Maybe one of those is a nugget. So.
Yeah.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
There you go.
Exactly. So she says this, and I quote, and this was part of a bigger thing, but this is the pieces that I chose because I thought it was pretty poignant.
Okay.
She says, I hope to see something better happening next time around.
I hope that something better comes along.
I hope Bob Iger, that is, has one foot out the door.
I like her. Never mind. I take back everything I said.
The brand is taking a terrible beating right now for a lot of reasons, all of which have the same root cause, which is that the Wall Street ideology about shareholder value has infected every aspect of the way the company runs.
Wow. She ain't wrong.
I know. I read that and I was like, Abby's kind of right on this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can call it Abby, but Abby, I'm going to call you Abby.
Yeah.
I think that's a valid point.
I changed my mind. I haven't heard that quote attributed to her.
That's all right. It'll trip up again next
Oh,
time.
yeah. Next time, it comes along and she'll say something else crazy.
This was in a Time magazine.
Employees
interview.
are living in dumpsters again and eating.
They eat no shakes and popcorn off a figment.
Gnawing on old turkey leg bone.
Not even the original recipe helped the people.
I want that crispy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that was it. That was Abigail Disney.
That's
fair.
very well said. Abby.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great point. It's a great point.
And then the next day, Thursday, November 24th, 2022, Thanksgiving Day.
Thanksgiving Day.
On Thanksgiving morning, Bob Iger shared his gratitude on Twitter for the employees and cast members of the Walt Disney Company. In a tweet, Iger said, "Giving thanks today to family, friends, and all of my new fellow employees and cast members at the Walt Disney Company. It was always a privilege to work with all of you, and it certainly is a privilege to do it again. Happy Thanksgiving." And of course, this continues a week of Bob Iger intentionally sharing his gratitude for those that work at the Walt Disney Company. And this all started out with that initial email that went out to staff when he announced his return. And it continued with another email that same day announcing the town hall on Monday, which we'll get to.
Okay.
Which has a lot of stuff. But yeah, so right then and there on Thanksgiving Day is his, for lack of a better word, campaigning to get everybody on the same page. Is like, hey, I'm here to help you guys. He's communicating. He's telling this is what's happening. I'm thankful for you guys.
Well, this is kind of the part where you're kind of happy to see Bob Iger back, and that is that he was always good at this. He was always good at galvanizing the troops. He was always good at making sure everyone was on the same page and moving forward in the same direction and getting the cast members to buy into it. He always paid them lip service, whether or not, and I always do feel like he did treat them fairly. Mm-hmm. I can't say I have no complaints about how he handled the cast members one bit. I think that this is him actually speaking what he believes.
I mean, I like that he communicates at least to a nice, cordial degree, right?
Yeah.
Even when I was on the Disney cruise, it's like, they have like the Golden Mickeys, and he has a video on there. He presents some things, and it's like, oh, well, there he is.
Yeah, I saw it.
Even though he doesn't do like the Sunday thing that Mike Eisner used to do, where he interact with Mickey on his desk of his office and stuff like that, but he's still visible and he's still speaking, and he's not afraid to do so, to be the face of the company.
Cast members love him.
Yeah, and then this is a case in point right there. It's like, I don't remember hearing about a report of a tweet like this.
Well, I mean, especially when you have a story coming out that says that Bob Chapek wanted all the cast members fired and gone. He's like, no. I'm overruling you. And he convinced the board to see it his way and made sure that they stayed on until the law was passed that allowed them to, I can't remember what the damn thing was called, but they were allowed to go ahead and earn money in the interim as they were pretty much had no jobs. So no, he's been good at that. That's one thing you got to give him his due. Like, I mean, people may think we hate him. We don't hate him. We call out what we see in the sense of what we've gotten in the parks, and I always feel like he borrowed from the parks in order to pay for all his acquisitions that he destroyed. But
that's another conversation for another day.
Oh, man, I'd have that conversation right now. I mean, tell me one thing he bought that's more valuable than when he bought it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm sure some nerd out there right now is like, well, technically it's not as valued at. Pixar is dead as a brand.
Yeah.
Star Wars is aimless at this point in time. No one knows where to go with that. The Fox deal, God, did they overpay for that one?
Yeah.
What was the fourth one that he was known for?
What?
Pixar, that's dead.
Marvel.
Aimless.
Yeah.
Completely. Like people might point to that and be like, off of the plan that was already in place, that was already
established, but
once that plan ran out, once they kind of ran it and closed out that chapter of the book, it's been a mess since then.
No.
So obviously Iger has great communication, but let's go to the other side of the coin. The next day, Friday, November 25th, 2022, Black Friday. Arthur Bachner, Vice President of Strategic Communications, speaking of, was let go.
Oh.
Now, you're probably wondering, who is this guy?
The head of Strategic Communications.
Yes, I just said it, yeah. Bachner, like Kareem Daniel, who's leaving was announced on Monday, right, back on the 21st, was seen as a key lieutenant of Chapek's, which made both execs' departure expected, right? Bachner had first served as Chapek's chief of staff until this past August, and more recently has been moved to a vice president of strategic communications position as Chapek faced mounting controversies, including his response to the Florida Don't Say Gay bill, which first angered Disney staffers.
Yeah, that is another mark against Chapek right there. That you're so bad that you need a person entitled strategic communications. Like, shut me the up when I say something
Speak something so I don't look like an idiot.
Right.
Danny, it gets better, Danny.
Here's the I'm going to tell you.
All right,
here's the entire department of strategic communications. Bob, strategic communications when it meets with you. Okay. Did you say that, I don't, what was it?
We don't want to have nothing to do with that.
Yeah, that we were going to be politically. Yeah.
Smack!
Smack!
Stop it!
What's you? What's the matter with you?
Department of Redundancy Department.
That's it. They would just step up and just one big bitch smack to his face and send him on his way. If you're the damn CEO, you should not need somebody to tell you what the hell to say. Just to stop you from running off at the mouth.
Or at least if you want to get with someone to say it before it's publicly stated for everyone to read. Then that's really strategic, because if you're just saying it, then you get slammed. That's just damage control.
That's it's such an evil title. The Department of Strategic Communications. That is so evil.
He's got like 20
because it's not even communication; it's strategic communication.
Right.
There's something
Yeah.
sneaky in there, like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
we need to be
basically
strategic.
admitting
Yes.
we're mind you.
Yes.
We're saying things, but these are not real. No.
Strategic. He's got 30 monitors up. He's sitting there in a big chair with a Persian cat pendant trying to figure out
Well,
the best
Danny,
control.
I'm sorry to say, but that communication wasn't so strategic
Oh, no.
because Arthur Bachner
Say it ain't
was
so.
also behind Chapek's remarks on the Disney's Q3 earnings call. Chapek's performance on that call and a
kind of
follow-up
weird.
memo to staff is believed to have led to his eventual ouster by
Yeah.
Disney board. So he didn't do that great for a Chapek at that third quarter earnings call, which just happened to happen just before his release.
You know what? Yeah, okay, I'm going to give you the strategic earnings call. You ready? For, okay.
Yeah, what
this
is
is
it?
what strategic communications did. All right, you ever saw Aladdin?
Yeah.
All right, here's what you're going to do, Chapek. Tell them the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
No.
And when they realized how much money they were like, oh, he got to go.
That
You
is
ordered
not-
that Disney Plus price hike, didn't you? No, you didn't.
That guy must have been thinking that maybe if I get him out, I'll take over. It must have been. That might have been his strategy.
Yeah, it didn't
I
work
don't know about that.
because he's bye-bye.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, that's.
Well, I mean, don't feel too bad. He's got a new job now.
What's that?
He's the lead singer in Bachner Turner Overdrive.
Bachner Turner Overdrive.
Okay.
LA.
Drive, let it ride.
Yeah, so there's that. So he's out. Okay. And so two high-level right-hand people of Chapek's are gone now out of the company. So now,
Yeah, I'm not losing any sleep over the
No.
the first guy. Yeah, that sucks for him because he backed the wrong horse. And, you know, it wasn't his thing, but you know he got involved in this with the site. That's such a BS title.
yes. So nothing happened on Saturday of note, but on Sunday, November 27th, 2022.
I don't know why, but I thought you were gonna play Sunday, Monday, Happy
Happy
Day.
days.
Not happy about this.
Not happy about days.
No, we get that current affair music going. Great.
Could be, yeah. I was going for a CSI kind of a thing.
Oh, yeah, no,
That's what I went for, yeah.
CSI, current affair, yeah.
without offending any copyright. But on Sunday, guys, guests visiting Castaway Cay noted that the sign honoring former Disney CEO Bob Chapek was removed from Castaway Cay just a week after he exited the company. Now, the sign says Bob Chapek, Master Shipbuilders. And you can see this as when you disembark the ship, and you're walking
Master
the pier.
bullshit builder.
When you're going down the pier and you're walking to Castaway Cay, you'll see this little hut-looking thing, and it says Bob Chapek, Master Shipbuilders. And people are taking pictures and noticing that it's not there anymore. And I remember the sign.
I remember because we were there in Castaway Cay, and I might even have a picture on my phone of that sign.
Me too,
But that
yeah.
was the wrong move, Kevin. That was the wrong move. It was very petty, very disappointing in the Disney Corporation. But it would have been so awesome if they left the sign there and Bob Iger just went out there with like a paintbrush, crossed off Master, and wrote in Novice.
I thought you were going to say it was penciled in Bader.
Wow.
They're going to put under new management.
Oh, there were so many fun things you could have done with this. I was going with Novice because he was called a novice for the way he handled. Like that was
Right.
the quote attributed to Iger, calling Chapek a novice for the way he handled the "Don't Say Gay" bill. Is the so-called "Don't Gay Say" whatever the
The
that
bill.
thing.
Oh, you could cross out Master and replace it with Padawan for our Star Wars fans. You know?
But yeah, you could have had so much. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They're talking about creative. That wasn't creative. That's no.
That's almost like Saints
Creative would have been
Yeah.
novice.
No, that's just straight up.
Add to the end of the name Bader.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's like Saints fan level pettiness, right?
Or it could have been like,
Kind
you know,
of.
Bob Chapek management, now under new management, like as Lee said. I thought that would have been a fun one. I mean, you could have really made that.
Oh, you could just crossed out Chapek and put Iger.
Yeah.
That would have been funny too.
Yeah.
Or you have it like one of those things where you just stick on top, like a sticker. Just slap it on there.
He's
Don't
got an
sweat me.
NDA. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
he can't say anything, so hell with it, man. Have some fun with it.
Yeah, why not have some fun?
Maybe we
with
should
it?
have a tombstone in the Haunted Mansion for.
Oh, what would it say?
Oh. Here lies Chapek, too bad he was worried about the paycheck or something lame like that.
Here lies Chapek. He had hair before he started this job.
Now he's bald as
Yeah.
Here lies Chapek under this grass. He once was a CEO. Now he's out on his ass.
I thought you were going to say now Iger owns his ass.
Oh, that's nice. I like it.
That was petty, though.
It was petty. You're right.
Yes.
You're right. It was petty. Also on that Sunday, the movie Stranger World. Are y'all familiar with this?
See the commercial.
You know,
Yeah, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Like, I saw like a movie poster, and then now I didn't even know when it was coming out, and then someone was talking about how poorly it did, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. You know, so Stranger World bombs at the box office Thanksgiving weekend, becomes the second consecutive Disney animated offering to bomb at the box office following Lightyear. Their release that happened in summer 2022. So before that, it had been roughly 10 years since an example of such a low opening. And we're talking about openings at least. Maybe overall it'll do better over time, but at least such a low opening can be found. And that was 10 years ago with Winnie the Pooh. Had a very low opening, you know, the animated things. But, you know, it was Stranger World. I think maybe I might have seen the thing on Disney Plus about it, but I didn't even know this was a thing. I had no idea.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, like, Chapek, you did a terrible job of getting this thing marketed. I had no idea this was even a movie. I thought it was a Disney Plus thing. I thought maybe it was a series or whatever else, but I didn't know this was a movie in a freaking theater.
I couldn't agree more. And when I found out it was out, I'm like, oh, shoot. Well, let me go to Disney Plus and watch it. It wasn't even on Disney Plus. And like,
It was in the theater,
they
right?
did horribly. Like, a lot of people like, oh, Disney's rejecting this message and that message and whatever the hell. I mean, because apparently there's like a gay character or something in here. I don't.
Oh, they over that.
I
And they're
know,
like,
yeah.
this is the public rejecting the message. No, the public didn't know this thing existed.
Yeah, no, I thought if Chapek thinks that there's only marketing thing, maybe like social media, which I don't think I ever saw Stranger World on social media. Did you guys see anything about this?
Nothing.
I never. I didn't see
Nothing.
anything.
Not one
Nothing. All
thing.
right.
I saw like one commercial for it. I didn't even recognize it
I didn't even
as a
see a
Disney
commercial.
movie.
Yeah, maybe I didn't either. Maybe that was the thing. I didn't realize it was a Disney movie, but I only saw that one. You know, like when you log into Disney Plus and you have all the things that scroll over, and you can just check to see what's up, and it auto scrolls.
Yeah.
That's the only time I ever saw that. It was like, oh, Stranger World. I'll check out that's later. Let me check out this other thing here.
And by the way, it could be an absolutely awful movie, but I would never know because I've never seen it.
No, I never have either.
And I don't like the fact that so many people are just kind of celebrating this as, you know, like, hey, Disney included a gay character in this thing, so screw you, the public rejected it. No, y'all did a horrible job of marketing it.
Yes, no, it was terrible. I had no idea it was a movie.
Yeah, well, we would have
I thought maybe it was
reviewed
a
it.
TV show on Disney Plus. I don't know, like a series.
We could have used the episode. I
Yeah,
mean,
we could have reviewed it and whatever else. You know,
Didn't know it was
I
out.
would have checked it out. at
We're
least.
always looking for content. We're desperate for content.
Yeah.
If we can just go sit at a movie theater
Yes.
as opposed to coming up with crap on our own.
Thank you.
We would have done that.
that was more drinking.
Yeah.
Totally.
Watch
Totally.
the movie, come back, talk about the drink. That's what we do.
I mean, we're
Right.
usually good to give it a fair shake at least, and then give our opinions on it. But
Yeah,
I didn't
I
know
mean,
it was a freaking movie in the
We're
theater.
not like look, we're Disney fans. We're really big Disney fans, but we're not like uber fans. We're not going to be able to tell you. If I could name 3 members of the Disney board of directors, I'd be. If I told you I could, I'd be lying.
Oh, I'm not that.
I'm sure there are people out there who could do that, and they're that kind of mega
And
fans.
Good for you.
But we're pretty high up there in terms of fandom, especially when it comes to creative stuff. Like, we love going, and this sounds like something that would have been right up my alley to see.
I would have loved to have checked it out.
yeah.
But now I won't see it because it's like, well, we've already blown it, and I'm paying so much now more for Disney Plus than I was before. We can't review it on the show. I'll just wait till it shows up on Disney Plus.
Exactly. I'm the same way. It's
I'm going to
like-
watch it.
I mean,
It's not a
even
question.
more, it was a movie release on Thanksgiving weekend. What a perfect time to go see a movie. You know,
Yep.
most people that have at least Thursday and Friday off in the weekend. I was like, you got to be kidding me, Disney.
It was really it's kind of disheartening. So I don't know if you put that on Chapek in the sense of that was just horrible marketing. Maybe they saw the movie. Maybe the movie's as bad as everyone said it was, and they were like, bury this stuff, right? Like, and don't get me wrong, like, we love reviewing bad movies too. Actually, those are the most fun reviews.
Yes.
So we still would have gone to go see it. The point of the matter is that they buried this. There was nothing out there about this movie.
Maybe this was the strategic plan.
If I see
Give
this
us a
movie,
chance.
and
Give it a
this movie's a decent movie, yeah, that just goes to show how, man, forget about strategic communications.
Yeah,
How
I
about
know.
Yeah.
strategic movie release?
date marketing people.
Communication department.
Man, it has to be. It has to be.
Well,
'Cause
those
that
were
was
the
crazy.
marketing people for this eating out the garbage can or something and didn't have a chance to.
Well, they were
Ask
eating on the
Abigail.
garbage can
Yeah.
in the parks. That's what they were doing.
Abigail
They couldn't
knows.
do it. Abigail knows, yes. All right, so that happened on that Sunday. And so the following day, this is the big day.
Had to watch.
Monday, November 28th, 2022. This is the town hall meeting that he announced last week. Not last week, but the last week that I'm talking about on the show. Iger went back. I had to clarify. It's like last week? No. It was Monday, the 28th of November. Iger went back to Disney headquarters in Burbank, California to hold down a town hall meeting with Disney employees to lay out his priorities for Disney. And there's a lot here, guys. So we're going to go through each one of these.
Oh, good, because I didn't watch this because I figured it was all BS.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna hear what I'm gonna read each a little bit, and we're gonna talk about what we think of it.
Okay.
Everything that he said.
All right.
So the first thing he said, well, not really said, but this was like before that. It was like a preemptive strike. Iger tweeted a photo of Disney's headquarters and said, "Filled with gratitude and excitement to be back."
That wasn't for Thanksgiving?
No, that was for the meeting, the town hall meeting.
Oh,
he
okay.
was actually in Burbank, California for this. So he took a picture with the Seven Dwarfs, that building, and that's what he said. Excited to be back. He's ready for the town hall that day. So that's when he released that tweet, was on that Monday. And then Iger kicked off the town hall by quoting a song from the musical Hamilton, which has been showing on Disney Plus during the lockdown, that says this. These are the words that he chose. He says, "There is no more status quo, but the sun comes up and the world still spins. There is a lot to do quickly." And of course, his entry into that, he said that was met with ovation, applause, and Iger responded saying that he thought he might cry with that kind of reception.
It's a little melodramatic.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of Hamilton.
I ain't even seen no Hamilton, nothing like that. He could
Right.
easily just be like,
It's
Avengers
fine.
is simple.
I liked Hamilton, but to be honest, I like
No Book of Mormon.
I like
Oh, okay.
no, it's not No Book of Mormon, but I liked Lin-Manuel Miranda did a musical called In the Heights, which I thought was a lot better.
Okay.
But that's
Well, this
that's
is your
another subject.
genre,
Yeah,
Kev,
that's
so
my
I
genre.
respect
But
that.
I liked Hamilton, but I didn't think it was better than In the
You
Heights.
know,
But
okay.
whatever.
All right.
That's a totally different topic.
Was it better than Book of Mormon?
No, Book of Mormon, I think, the different because you got like drama and comedy. So I think drama wise, I liked In the Heights. Comedy wise, in Book of Mormon's great. I mean, that hands down, that's just like that's the what do you call it? I was trying to think of some 50s. That's the cat's pajamas.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what else.
It's got
The bee's knees.
It's the bee's ass. Thank you. I was trying to think of that. The bee's knees, because it's also a liquor
It's
drink.
groovy, man.
It's groovy, dude. I dig it. I like Book of Mormon. So for because comedy and drama, you have those two masks in theater, and one's
It's Jiggy
sad, one's
Baby.
happy. It's those two areas for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, in this meeting, for one of the first things he did was this. He highlighted that his number one priority is creativity, which we've heard him say before.
Bull-
Previous week. Iger said this, and I quote, Iger said this. He says, "A number of you who worked with me know I'm obsessed with that." So obviously we're obsessed with that. We know that. But I'm obsessed with that for a reason. It's what drives the company, Iger said. It is not about how much Disney creates, but rather how great the things are that we do create.
What's the greatest thing that has come out of the Iger years at Disney? Like, what is the great, like Frozen?
Acquisitions.
Is that like,
Acquisitions.
I'm talking like movies and like
The acquisitions.
Acquisition.
no.
Okay.
No, the best years under the Iger administration.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah,
You
that was good.
I'm trying to find something good there. That's what I was trying to do. That was a challenge.
That was good, but that was again. Is that Chapek or is that Iger? I think you got to give that to Iger.
I thought that's where
in
we
the
were
sense
going.
that-
We're going
yeah.
Chapek or Iger?
No, well, that's what I'm saying. But technically, Chapek was involved at that point in time. I think, though, because Iger wasn't like that's the thing. You don't know how
it's
to
very
attribute
confusing.
it. I think you got to credit it to Iger. But there again, was it a great movie? No.
I enjoyed it better.
No. I'm not saying it wasn't a fun movie. We did a whole review about it. You can go back and listen to it, guys, where it was a great movie, gave you all the feels, you were invested, and you had a lot of fun. But it made no freaking sense whatsoever. It was all over the place. And it was just like, as long as you checked your brain at the door, you could watch something. To me, it's like when you hear like guys like Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese criticize Disney or Marvel movies, I should say, and you're like, it's a bunch of BS. It's a lot harder to argue it with this one.
You know what's funny about that, Dan? And I agree with you here. I'm looking at these numbers, right? So I'm looking at all these worldwide box office numbers of the previous movies that were during Iger's reign. So these are the movies that have grossed in the $1 billion mark.
Okay.
And it's Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker.
It's terrible.
The Lion King.
What, the remake?
The remake, yes. And I got to point to this.
Can we hang that on the alleged creatives, the live action remakes?
Yes. And you know, because I got to point to this because I thought it was interesting that these are the only ones that are $1 billion worldwide. Aladdin also we made it in there. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Terrible.
Beauty and the Beast, and let's see, Peach Dragon.
Peach.
No, I'm sorry, not Peach Dragon. Yeah, no,
Moana's nowhere in there. Where's Moana?
No, the Jungle. No, what is it? Zootopia. Zootopia was $1 billion one.
No,
worldwide.
Okay, at best.
So out of all of them, if you notice, and my point is this: out of all of them, though, only one of them is not based on something that was released back in the 90s. Or not based on property that already existed. Like Zootopia is the only one that was in the $1 billion mark that was almost pretty much original, which I thought was great. But everything else is built on Star Wars, Aladdin, Lion King. That was all Eisner back in the 90s, man. This is all just built off of that.
Zootopia is definitely the best of that bunch as far as the actual movie itself, the storyline, and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know about the Star Wars stuff. Some people like it. That's great. That's cool. But you're right. It's exactly right. Like none of it is original. Zootopia is the only one that was original.
That's my point. Like Zootopia is the only one that's honest, original content where everything else is relying on nostalgia of the material itself.
Now, Moana deserves to be in there.
Moana, let me see what Moana worldwide was. That was...
I don't know what it... But I mean, that to me was a brilliant movie under Iger's watch.
Yeah, Moana, unfortunately, was
Coco.
Not in the $1 billion. That was... It was high. It was 631 million. It was in that area. Coco was also in the 797 million. So it was high up there, but it didn't cross that billion mark like the other ones. And the only reason why I think it crossed the $1 billion mark was because of nostalgia.
Onward was okay.
Onward. What was Onward? Let me see what it's.
It's not going to be up there because Onward was right at the height of the pandemic.
Onward got jacked up.
It got jacked up badly because of the pandemic, and I think it could have done better because it was an okay movie, not a great movie, but an okay movie, and I enjoyed
potential
it.
Though. For
it did
higher.
That one's kind of tough to say. It only reached 133 million, but like I said, it wasn't in the movie theater, so that was a little bit tough to do.
I mean, if we want to go to Black Panther, yes, 100%. If we want to go to Thor Ragnarok, 100%. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I got to give. But
that's a different
credit.
phase. That's the problem. Unless it's just splitting the hairs as to his reign, but then the phases of the movie where it hit a certain
But
mark.
my point is go ahead, Dan.
Can I just say this one thing?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, two things. I'll say two things. One, to go back to the point I was trying to make before with Lee, the deal under Michael Eisner effectively landed Disney, Toy Story, the franchise, Monsters, Inc., the franchise, Finding Nemo, the franchise, Cars, the franchise, The Incredibles, the franchise, and they never spent a dime to make. All they did was distribute it, and they got the rights to put them in the theme parks. They had the right to make sequels. So Pixar couldn't have made their own sequels under the Eisner deal with it. And since Iger took over, they had a couple movies in the pipeline, Ratatouille being one of them, WALL-E being one of them. They were already in the pipeline. But once Disney got a hold, what did we start seeing? Unnecessary Pixar sequels. Gravely unnecessary. I liked Monsters University. It was a fine film. Is it ever going to be anything transformative? No. Is it ever going to be anything like, oh my God, that's one of the best things? No. But the majority of what Pixar did, beyond that, The Good Dinosaur... Oh, God. What were some of the other travesties that came out of this?
Travesties.
I mean, CFG.
Look, they did better under the Michael Eisner framework than with, and Pixar as a brand, like I said, is dead as a doornail. But I think where I was going with it before, some of this Marvel stuff, like Black Panther. Black Panther was a freaking layup. That's being handed, you're given the ball under the goal with no one guarding you and saying, can you just put that in the basket?
Yes, the one had seen. Yeah,
right. No one had ever seen it yet before. And don't get me wrong, Ryan Coogler and company, they did phenomenal. And credit to them for going ahead and greenlighting that.
Yeah, we like Creed. We saw Creed 2.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. But to sit there and say like, hey, you know, it'd be great base a movie off the comics with this property and really kind of make that world come to life. I mean, there's just some things that are a layup. Black Panther was a layup.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I give him credit for the idea of making it, but not that much credit because you should have. Why would we have not thought to make this? Like, and that's not even to say Black Panther was the best movie I've ever seen from Marvel. Black Panther, I don't think Black Panther would be in my top 5 Marvel movies.
I think it was a different Black Panther. I was talking with the gentleman at work about this. It was like the Black Panther that was in Civil War.
Yeah.
Was a different Black Panther than was actually in the Black Panther movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that dude was out to get you. And we didn't really see that.
That's right, because like the Black Panther that was in Civil War is more in line with the Black Panther I remember from the cartoon series.
Well, yeah, that dude, like, you killed my daddy, it's on.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah, he
got to
didn't
the
play.
movie,
Yeah.
it was like, oh, well, this is that,
all of a sudden,
democracy.
Nakia shows up and you hear, hi.
You freeze.
That was the most
freeze.
awkward moment of the movie when all of a sudden he goes, hi.
Like an antelope in a headlight.
Took me out of the
freeze.
goddamn movie with that.
I mean, the girl's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, come on.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
The girl is
Yeah,
fine, but
I mean-
still.
But I mean, really, who would carry that movie? Killmonger.
Absolutely,
The portrayal
No,
of
that's true.
Montel
Montel Williams.
Montel Jordan.
Montel Williams, yes.
Oh,
Michael B. Jordan did a
Michael B. Jordan,
phenomenal
yeah.
job
I had
as
you.
Killmonger.
Yes.
I will go let you fall on that one. Yeah,
And I
Mike,
think-
this is how we do it. Yeah,
You know what's something that's underlying all of this is like I can't help but think is like, okay, if you're not a creative, go ahead and hire the creatives to help you make the decisions with you. But at some point, I feel like you got to listen to them better to make these things actually happen. I don't know. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not. But I feel like, if you're not a creative, you should surround yourself creatives. But a lot of things should have been better had maybe you would have listened to them more.
that's fair.
I don't know. I mean,
Yes, fair, but
there has to be a balance, though, I think. Right?
Well, yeah,
Yes.
I don't know if we're about to say the same thing.
Probably.
Oh, let them both. Yeah, go for it.
The trick is
we share the
that
same brain sometimes.
Sometimes, every now and again.
It's cute. It's adorable. I love it.
Sometimes with continuity, that's what you have to be the most mindful of, right? Like you can have one person come in, like in comics, as an example, you can have a writer come in and say, "Oh, I'd like the Avengers to do this and do basic hero stuff," and then you have a guy like Mark Millar come in and say, "You know, it'd be cool if the Hulk took a person and ate him. You wouldn't see that before," and then people go crazy.
Didn't see that before.
That's because it's true. You
It
know?
was awesome.
It's awesome, and then like you say, you know what'd be cool is if Nick Fury was black and he was blah, blah, blah. Samuel L. Jackson looked just like him. Like, in other words,
Yeah, they get a lot of credit for that, and they don't realize that was the way it was in the comics.
exactly. That was the ultimate.
Yeah.
That was a book. And I met the guy a long time ago. Dave knows the story, and I was like, man, that was awesome. I never saw the Hulk eat someone. That makes so much sense.
And well, can I just so the listeners out there understand this? When I say that was introduced in the comics, I don't mean that there was a black Nick Fury in the comics. I meant he was drawn as Samuel L. Jackson in the comics.
Yes.
It wasn't it's not like, oh, we just cast Morgan Freeman. No, it was drawn by Mark Millar.
Well, Brian.
I'm sorry.
Mark Millar wrote it, and then
Thank you.
Oh well, God, I want to say Brian Singer.
So,
That's not the name, but yeah,
Giving them credit for casting Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury.
Yes.
No.
it was literally a given.
Yes.
I mean, and pretty much even you can look at the book. I mean, it's a good blueprint. I mean, the people that they casted.
I mean,
Pretty much.
is the comics? Is the cartoon kind of like straight out of the books? Would
Well,
you say?
in
I mean, I feel like the Nick Fury looks just like that.
To be fair,
Well,
I don't know how they connect,
The
but that's
comics
how I
was
know it.
way
Yeah.
more graphic because
Yes.
it could get away with that.
and the
Well,
Hulk
yeah, they didn't have
was
to,
way
yeah.
more intense.
Way more, and then
But as far as like how the characters look,
yeah.
because when I look at the old cartoons that I used to watch, I'm like,
which cartoon then?
Captain America, yes.
Avengers Assemble.
Hulk, no, man. Hulk had that bug-eyed look like.
Oh, that was yeah.
dude.
They've changed. Yeah,
I'm talking about
It
like
reminded me of like Aunt Esther, you fish-eye fool. like he had those eyes that were just like, they were like fish eyes.
yes.
and
So
they
you
would-
kind of jump.
Yeah, glossed over.
Iron Man is another example. An artist named Addy Gravinoff redesigned the Iron Man costume a while back, and then that's the Iron Man costume that you see in the comics now and in the movies and stuff moving forward.
Well, I was thinking Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the
Yes,
first
but-
Avengers one that
yeah.
kind of looks like Nick Fury. So when you said that, I was like, I wonder if it's based on the comic books. I don't
No,
know.
I'm sure it is, but I
they
mean,
did-
one's a genesis to lead to another thing
Right,
that
right.
spins off on
But
something.
Okay,
to Eli's point, they did redesign the Captain America look.
Yeah.
Oh,
which
really?
has become the iconic Captain America look that we get, kind of like you get.
Is that what we see in MCU?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
100%.
Interesting.
He
because-
usually, go ahead.
No,
yeah,
you're the
I'm
comic
not-
guru.
I'm not as versed in comics as
I'm
you guys
mowing
are,
your
so
lawn.
yeah.
You
No,
go
you
ahead.
go. No, I'm
No,
cutting
you
you
go.
off. And,
No.
Yeah, but the way you mowed his lawn looks good, man. I like
Yeah,
how his
I-
hair is done. It
I'm
looks
trying to
coiffed.
trying
He's
to
a
keep the
coiffed
shade
brother
for you.
right now.
Manscaping.
There it is.
Yeah. Oh.
That.
Okay.
No, he's right in the sense that Captain America originally has like this uniform that looks like fish scales
Yeah.
on it.
Oh,
And so,
interesting.
again, when they did the Ultimates, they changed that whole look and made him more.
Made it look like real, like
Yeah.
you would really go into or like if you went into battle, you might actually wear this.
Yes.
And then the MCU kind of adopt that. Like if you remember, you saw the original Avengers and Captain America's wearing this bubble-headed thing. Like it's like that doesn't look right. And they went back to the original design that they came up with from the comics. So
Yeah, they meshed them with the helmet and then like the little thing of wings, but not wings sticking out.
I guess what we're trying to say here, just kind
Sorry,
of
yeah,
follow
bring it
the
back,
end.
But
bring it
before I
back.
forget, though, I would like to do a show like that. Just
Sure.
like talking about people's cartoons and
Yeah.
tying it into the comic books and the cartoons, just to see the look. I think that'd be an interesting show to talk about the history of how these characters look. But anyway, that's on the side.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I
go ahead,
forgot.
go ahead, go ahead.
I went down the rabbit, but the point was to say that these guys can be about business and still listen to creatives, but they have to kind of make a guideline for the creative people to understand that, hey, we made, using Black Panther as an example in Civil War, like, okay, Black Panther was doing this right here. Let's keep him this awesome. You could have a different guy or whoever doing it because he was in a team movie, but you say, hey, look, keep this dude awesome like this throughout. Because sometimes if you get a person that is creative, and I've done this myself when I work for other people, I'm like, I want to take it this way. And if you let the person
You got to wrangle the creative.
Yes.
Yes.
You-
No, I
100%.
you totally have to do that for continuity purposes.
Yes. No, I completely agree with that because if you let creatives go on their way up, it's like popcorn. It's going to go everywhere.
Right.
And you got to have somebody. And I think that's what the dynamic between Walt and Roy, that was great.
Yeah.
Because Walt was just, he could, whatever. He thought about some.
Yeah.
Roy was like, okay, how can we do this?
Well, yeah, you
You
want
know, so he kind of wrangled it, like reined them in just a touch.
Yeah.
You know, so no, I totally understand that. Absolutely.
Yeah, some creatives that it'll be like an acid trip of a movie, whereas you need it to be able to be digestible by the average human viewer, not necessarily somebody who can appreciate the finer qualities of color striations and whatever the hell else. But I mean, I guess where I was trying to go before, and I think Eli kind of closed it on the best argument you could make, but I'll just reiterate what I said before, which is some of this stuff is a layup. And what they created in the comics, I mean, it's like when they do some of the new Star Wars stuff and they just base it off of the extended novels. It's like you're not bringing in people, you're not reinventing the wheel, you're not telling new stories, you're just basing this stuff, all these alleged creatives are basing this stuff off of other creatives' work. And you're just cherry picking. Yeah, they call it creativity, but it's just cherry picking what other people did that worked. And let's use that. And then let's take that, mix it in with whatever social message that we want to put forward.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then cast people in there that and then boom, throw that out there, and then by the time the product gets to you, it's diluted, and then it's not as good as it should have been. But every once in a while, as to Lee's point earlier, it's like sometimes a broken clock can be right twice a day, and then you get something that's really, really good, or you get a creative vision like Thor Ragnarok was great. It was absolutely great. It was something we hadn't seen before. It was so new. It was so different. And then they tried to do the exact same thing and make Thor look like an even bigger dumbass. And the last one, and people were like, wait a minute. Whoa. Now, but you had this before, but now you're making Thor look like I don't know. He was like Rocky Balboa,
Not
and he's a
Thor,
little
yeah.
punch drunk now because with some of the stuff he's doing insane.
And I mean, I like Taika Waititi, not to go off on a tangent, but part of me feels like he was strapped to a certain. This is what it has to be, and he couldn't let it be. I'm just speculating here. I don't know for true.
None of us.
If that's none of us know what happened behind closed doors. We're not in the room when it happened. To quote Hamilton, those who know that reference it. But it's like I feel like if Taika Waititi would have let it do his own vision, it might have been a little bit different. It might have been better. Who knows? But we never know that. We will never know.
Well, but I mean, according to Bob and them, this is a guy that this is one of the creatives. That's what Disney does.
Yeah.
And this movie would have been put together in 2021.
Yep.
And if that didn't happen, I'd like to know why.
Yeah.
But yet, how does he not just look at the comic and say, all right, well, here's the comic we own. Boom. Just, then you got to talk to Jason Aaron.
Yeah.
He works for us now. We own him.
I ain't got time to read no comics.
He made
I ain't got time to read no sticking eel. I'm an executive.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm a Disney executive.
Yes.
I got time for this.
No time for this.
That's what it keeps coming back to, though, doesn't it? It's like, okay, you've got Star Wars. What are you going to do with it? Look at the that they did an extended series and include as much nostalgia into that references the old stuff as we can. It's like, yeah, but what is your vision to move this forward?
Oh, that's it.
Well, we ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
Don't have anything.
Just have lightsabers and Yoda.
That's all you need.
And just say Skywalker every now and then.
Let's keep talking like we're jacking off creatives over here. No, you're not. You're cherry picking from other creatives.
Right.
You're taking the best of what they did. You're mixing it in with your social little messages and your whatever you think is going to sell that week. And you're giving us a watered down, lesser version of what it is that we wanted to see.
Creative bukkake, but not as good.
And my last thing is the only credit those people get is a nice, like, small thing if you decide to stay through the movie and hope for an extended scene.
100%.
I watched it. I'm like, yeah, that guy, he made that.
Yes.
He didn't, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't like, oh, I'll just turn this dude a different color, put on a different uniform. He created the guy out of nowhere. And
right.
You're taking that dude's stuff, and then you make it on a bigger scale, and you don't ask the dude about the dude that made the dude.
He should have been like a creative consultant or something on this project.
Right.
Yeah. Like the idea that you would do She-Hulk and not bring in any of the people that helped create She-Hulk.
Dude,
that you would not consult John Burns, who really kind of made her the character, the attorney at law. Nope, don't need to talk
Don't
to this.
need
No, don't need to talk to any of these people. We know better what to do with your creation than you guys do.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because it's like I was talking about this with the musician thing. We had a similar issue, and it's like, we understand the issue, but the guy paying the money and making decisions, I don't think quite understands the issue here.
No, and that's fine. It's fine if they don't, but then don't sit here talking about, us, we're all about creatives over here.
Right.
Like, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah, don't
it's all
make
about
that your mission
strip mining, other creatives' work, and then kind of putting them in the blender and creating your little,
hodgepodge.
smoothie of
your little shepherd's pie.
Star
of
Wars smoothie. Your
Smoothie.
Meanwhile, the original cooks are like, man, we could make some good stuff over here. Like, now we go with the shepherd's pie, okay?
Yeah, we
People
go
are buying
with the
that.
chef. We got the gumbo.
We got
a little bit of
creative.
everything.
That's right. We like creatives.
All right, so what's
And the
next
reason-
up?
and
Before
before we
we'll
do
be
that-
here forever.
Yeah.
But
You're right. He hit a point of me. He hit a point.
Well, the reason why the reason why we're harping on this because we are artistic buffs talking about Disney stuff, and so if you mention creative, and this is something we've been preaching about, this is one of the points which I expected that we're going to talk a lot about on because basically what I'm going to say is like you say that Iger, prove it, mother,
Prove that.
prove it. Let's see what happens. Put your money where your mouth is, dude. Let's see what happens, and we're gonna be watching because that's what we do. We're creatives. But anyway, we'll go on. He says more at the town hall, and I'll kind of go through this, and we can comment as we go because there's a bunch of other stuff other than creative. But that was his main thing. That was his main message. So it's fair
It's always
that
been-
we would have commented this the longest on this thing.
Yeah.
The creative piece because that's
All right, we're going to
important
rein
us.
ourselves in from here
Yes,
on out.
okay, we're because the rest of it's just academic. So Iger on that day goes on to say that Disney's hiring freeze will remain in place for now, at least. He also mentioned that the duration of the hiring freeze will be a factor as he addresses Disney's overall cost structure.
In other words, we spend too much money on Fox.
So gotta figure out how to work it out, and it'll freeze. And then once we figure that out, we'll
Disney
unfreeze
streaming, which I created, isn't
good,
going
yes.
so well.
Yeah, so you gotta like not be able to feed your kids because of my incidents.
Yes. Then he goes on to say, and this is pertinent regarding Disney Plus. He says Iger acknowledged Disney's focus must shift towards making its streaming businesses profitable, and this is Disney Plus, Hulu Plus, ESPN Plus, all that profitable rather than concentrating on simply adding subscribers. So he wants to make it more profitable instead of just adding subscribers, which was the company's priority when he gave up the CEO job in 2020. So he says. And then Iger continued to say, if you look long-term at the future of linear TV, it would be wise to be skeptical or pessimistic about it. How it manifests itself in our company, I don't know.
Yeah, this is where this guy's like a word ninja. Like, it's the whole idea, like, we're not worried about getting new subscribers, which would, enable the profitability of it by having more people sign up for Disney Plus. We're worried about how to engage in the profitability of what we already have, which is the subscribers are already paying you.
Commercials in Disney Plus.
And then he keeps talking, and then somewhere along the way, you lose the point, and you're like, squirrel,
Yeah.
and you just off into the, I have no idea what he said meant there.
Oh, no, dude, I can tell you exactly what that means.
Okay, please do.
That means YouTube, it's going to be just like YouTube. You're going to get a commercial just before you watch your featured whatever you clicked on. If you notice when you go into YouTube on the app, every time you want to watch a video, there's some commercial that pops up and you got to watch it. Sometimes you got to watch it. Sometimes you can skip after 5 seconds.
Well,
then you get your damn video. I guarantee you that's what Disney Plus is going to go to.
If they're doing an ad-based thing, then they better take my price down, because I'll downgrade to the ad version, and because I'm not paying what I'm paying now for an ad-based version of
You're right.
Disney Plus.
And that's one of the things that people speculate. I didn't mention this, but this was brought up on Monday.
Okay.
But it was speculated he might do something about the Disney Plus prices, because Chapek was all about just raising the prices to increase profitability.
Right. Sure.
But they're hoping that he doesn't do that and just kind of goes back on that plan and does something different. And the only way you can induce profitability is just by paying for ads. I don't know how else to do it in media. And YouTube's an example of that. They've been doing it, and it aggravates the shit out of me when I watch maybe even one of our videos and we got to watch a freaking ad.
To be fair, though, I don't mind the ad because that lets me go use the bathroom and let me go, get something to drink, stuff like that, and I come back.
Fair,
I know I got a minute 45 to do something.
Because you can either do that or you can pay extra to have no ads.
Now,
so that's where I see where it's going.
Extra, I better take that dump.
But then he just said that, okay, so he's not worried about new subscribers. So new subscribers, the only way that would be a way to bring him there. Like, hey, you don't have to pay this much money. You can pay a lesser cost, but you just have ads. But that's new subscribers.
But if you don't want ads, then you can pay this tier.
Like, because you'll have a whole bunch of old subscribers being like, I don't watch this much Disney Plus. Like,
right.
Yeah, downgrade me.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd be done with it. I'd stay with the ads.
I would 100% do it. Yeah. I do it with the ads and stuff like that. I think,
especially if you give me the skip option after 5 seconds.
Can I say something? Like, I remember us talking about it when Disney Plus launched, and we talked about the price, and we couldn't believe that for 3 years we were going to get wait, this much content at this cost? Sign us up. I thought they underpriced it to begin with.
Well, there was a lot of complaint too that they didn't release the Vault in Disney Plus either.
Oh yeah, well that was something they talked that they were going to do, and yeah, it didn't happen.
Yeah, that would have been great. And in that case, I've been like, you guys aren't charging enough for this. I would pay more for this.
But it's not surprising that they didn't release the Vault. I mean, did we really think we were going to see Song of the South? Really?
No. There'd be some Vault pieces that they will just leave in, like Pocahontas. They probably leave in the Vault.
Yeah,
sure.
But to your point. That's the kind of stuff that should entice me to want to get some non-ad, ad thing. It's something that I can't see anywhere else but this site. Like if you say to me, okay, listen, I don't know, Captain America 8's coming out. It's going to be out in the theater, but only because you're a Disney Plus, subscriber without ads, you're going to get that junk the first month will come. Okay, well now you got my interest. Not, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
That's the kind of incentive that you would need for the consumer.
When you think about how ridiculous it is that we haven't had a Captain America animated series. The Iron Man animated series, Thor animated, like any of those.
That's new or that's
like that's new. It's 100% new. Like where
just
you
making
could,
sure for clarity.
Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, it's crazy. Like you don't need Chris Evans or Robert Downey Jr. or anything like that. You can go ahead and just run something if you really wanted to do something with these characters. But I mean,
but it's not worth what it is that they do. And that's part of the reason why that streaming service doesn't do very well. I mean, one, there's too much competition for streaming. right?
Oh, there's a ton. There's a ton now.
And the common, but
Yeah.
the ones that do the most better stuff is they don't treat themselves as like an extension of something.
Well, it's episodic storytelling. That's what
Right.
those really great streaming shows do, and that's what makes
Right.
you come back and you watch it. With Disney, like we've covered a few of these things, and we always like after we cover them, like let's not do that ever again because there's so much filler.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, a mark of Q-Mark.
Yeah.
He even said, like, some of these series could have just been a 2-hour movie, and that's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Dude,
You
that's
can
it.
feel it when you're watching. So again, these alleged creatives, like I haven't seen like a show like to me the best show that I watched was Loki.
Loki was pretty damn good.
Yeah, Loki was pretty good. I
wanna
liked
know
the
more.
subject matter. It kept me guessing. I didn't really know where things were going to go, but there were still episodes that were filler.
Yeah.
Or there were
Yeah.
still episodes that you were like, man, okay, they teased this, we were going to go here, and I really kind of thought we were going to explore that, but we never really did. And, really good shows, episodic television. I don't think that we've seen that. I think what you see when you watch Disney Plus is a lot of base hits. I don't think you see a lot of people swinging for a home run.
An extended movie, would
Yeah.
you say that?
Something.
100%.
A movie that they just decided to stretch over 10 or 12 episodes or whatever?
Yeah, and then they fatigue you out on Marvel because they're like, you're so conditioned, like in order to understand everything else that's going on, you have to watch all this stuff, and then it becomes like I don't even want to watch this. Like Eternals, I've tried to watch it twice. Then Eli's like, "Oh, let's
Dude,
do a
I
show
haven't even made it through once.
about Phase 4," and I'm like, "Okay,
That's fair.
I can do it. I'm gonna do it." Like I'm like training myself to watch this movie that has turned me off at least twice.
I don't put myself above that because you remember when I made
No.
that, I said it myself. I said, "Look, I have to finish watching the Eternals." LOL, because like even I stopped, but that's a different thing altogether. But to your
I
point,
think it was sponsored by Ambien.
I took it
the same people that sponsored Lord of the Rings for me.
It should have been sponsored by
thank you.
Adderall.
I haven't made
Thank
it through
you.
Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry.
That's
For those of you
another
that love
one
it,
I can't
no,
Can't do
understand.
that. Let's
No.
walk. Let's keep walking.
no.
And
Yeah.
walk some more.
Don't you agree, Lee? Yeah, that's what I thought.
You mean Gandalf?
Yeah.
Gandalf, yeah.
Gandalf the not so wise.
Just making sure you're still there, buddy.
Yeah. The,
All right.
the last thing is that the streaming service doesn't personalize itself to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't say stuff like Netflix is good with this. Like you watch this, so you might like this. Disney
That's
Plus
a simple if-then statement.
Yeah.
I think they need to program into their stuff.
Yeah, but it doesn't. You know what I mean?
They don't do
Because
that, yeah.
If I don't consciously tell myself, "Oh, I want to watch whatever,"
You can't find it.
I can't find.
I
it.
agree. No, I agree. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so it doesn't feel personalized.
I
to
feel
me,
like
the
there's
viewer.
a simple if-then statement that should be there, and then some logic built into the programming. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No,
I could
you're
be
not.
wrong,
You're
but
not
whatever.
alone. It just makes sense. Netflix set.
Maybe
a
we
very
build a
high-
website that gives listeners that watch Disney Plus, if you've plug in what you've watched, and we'll tell you what you might like.
Like yes, because Netflix is very good at that.
Yeah.
They set a very high standard so that you can feel like this is your personal channel, and you don't always know what you're gonna watch on
Right,
television until you hit it.
All right. Also, in that town hall, Iger noted this. He said that Disney won't be pursuing any major acquisitions in the near future, and adding that he's comfortable with Disney's current set of assets.
What else is there to buy?
Warner
Apple?
Brothers, DC.
Apple. He's going to buy Apple. He needs to get into the computer market. Disney the
Yeah.
computer. Disney the laptop.
Get into wrestling by AEW.
Holy dude.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, do that.
MMA?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but because they have stuff on ESPN Plus, which they have. So yeah, you can do all kind. There's always more stuff to buy.
Look, this is so anti Bob Iger. You know he wants to buy something. You know he wants to buy. He just knows the credit card's maxed out. That's all.
Oh, that's exactly it. Yeah, he can't spend any more money.
This
so-
is so frustrating to him.
Yes. No, I agree with that. Yeah, this is like I can't spend any more money.
Right.
So yeah, we're definitely not
He
going to do
would
anything.
love to have something else.
Yeah, well, if that was but that's the thing, right? If that's your claim to fame, this is your true test. Your true test now is how do you modify what you bought Be like if you bought a car, if you know the car is falling apart, you still got to get parts for it. You want to modify.
Well, how do you
make
rebuild it?
better.
How do you make it better? Yes,
How you keep it
absolutely. How are
functioning
we going to
better?
put that new exhaust on there?
How you gonna put the new sheen on it?
That muffler.
I would say that his biggest test is that, yes, he's got a product that he told all the easy stories to tell, the most marketable, the fun stories, if you will, the ones that we all know. Origin stories always, to me, work well because they're tried and true. You knew the origin of,
Iron Man.
Yeah,
Captain
correct.
America.
Exactly, over and over and over again. You knew it. Like, all they had to do was hit the major marks. Now it's all about taking what they own and doing something original with it. And as you could tell from what they did with Star Wars, they're not very good at that.
No.
Hey, we lost the Empire. What do we need? A first order.
Order up.
Yep.
Order up. I need 2 eggs slammed and a Han Solo dead.
I need a half-assed Darth Vader.
I need a Swift pilot.
Emperor Palpatine. No, I'm sorry. What was the guy?
Snoke.
No.
I need
Not
a piece of Snoke.
no. Well, he was the. No, I'm thinking of
Kylo Ren?
No. What was the Peter Cushing role?
Peter Cushing.
Oh,
The guy that the little redhead dude took over for. Peter Cushing.
wait. You talking about old school Star
Moff
Wars?
Tarkin or something.
Oh,
That's it.
Moff Tarkin?
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
There you
yeah.
go.
Talking.
Yeah,
Where they
yeah, yeah.
replaced him with that little redheaded guy who turned out to be the traitor.
Oh, that's right. Remember
Oh,
that
yeah,
little
Hux.
dude?
Commander
Hux. That's right.
He's in the ride.
Oh boy,
Commander Hux, yes.
that's a full order right there. And I don't think that should be hard because
It shouldn't be.
be.
Especially for somebody, again, who likes to fillet the creatives.
Exactly.
But still can't seem to come up with an original direction to take this stuff.
like
Yeah, or look, fillet them and then see it to completion, please.
you could do this like this really easy. I'm not even the president of this company. You could just go out there and find fan fiction for whoever, and then say, I'll buy your fan fiction story for $1,000.
Yeah, some of that stuff's good.
Yes.
Some of the stuff is really good.
Really good. Then you could just go ahead and just plop all the actors in there. Tell the person that you bought the fan fiction, like, hey, you want to come see the viewer and tell everybody you had a hand in doing this? That person would explode.
You want to sleep in Cinderella's castle for a night?
Right?
Can we have your story?
Dude, no,
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, not only would they explode, but like his stuff would explode because like you'd have the thing was like, oh, you want to see the original that was based on? Check it out, and then you start to see the comparisons. Like, oh yeah, that's badass.
Right.
Oh, both videos, it's a win-win.
And then
as
that
the business would say.
and then that person who blows up, they telling everybody. Now you've got free advertising about just because social media is on
Everybody's
the
blowing each other. It's great.
And then let's say the person you bought the fan fiction from is a woman, or they're black, or they're both, or whoever. Doesn't even matter. You like the story. Now that person's
It's a
throwing out this
person.
stuff, and then now you fixed your inclusivity problem. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, in the most basic form, if you're saying you're about creativity and how do you modify every single property that you bought, it ain't that hard. Somebody's always writing a story about this
Somebody's already
character.
done it. Somebody's written something that they wish this would have been like.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So the
what
next
else did he
thing he
say?
talked
Yeah.
about in town hall, he said Iger said that he wouldn't make any dramatic proclamations about Disney's work from home policies, but said he felt creative businesses worked best when employees work together in person. Iger said, and I
Nice
quote, "I happen to believe that in creative businesses, there's tremendous value in working from the same place." Iger told the Disney employees, "It creates an energy. It is very enabling to creativity. I am not making any proclamations, but I think it's extremely important." To go with this, he added that Disney and most companies should be more flexible with how employees manage their personal and professional lives.
Can I tell you that is why Lee is the weakest member of the Magical Way podcast, because he doesn't work in person.
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
So the three of us, we're in the same room.
We're in the same room.
We're just working and going, and Lee's on 7-second delay. Like, I'm still talking, and Lee hadn't heard my first sentence.
He's just grinning like, what the hell?
No, it's funny.
He's searching for the unmute button.
He's like, I'm done.
Oh man,
What'd you say?
What'd you say?
Say it again.
I believe I like the balance between your home life, work life balance kind of thing, as they say. But I also agree, and we're examples of that. It's like we're all in our room together. I mean, sparks fly, things ignite, and it's just easy because we feed off of each other's energy. During the lockdown, we did our best to try to keep that, but it was a little bit harder. We had to work a lot harder to it. Not to say that it's not impossible to do it in a virtual environment. But when we're all in the same room together and we're all experiencing the same thing and we're trying to drive some ideas, I mean, hell, guys, we came up, what was it? We came up with this. We came up with Lee's sexy music, which became our sexy music, which became Lee's promotion for his travel business.
What?
We came up with all that little jingle, and that's just one example, but it's happened all throughout this podcast. So yeah, to an extent, I agree with what Bob had to say. And at the same time, I do agree. There's a bit of a work-life balance, but there has to be some kind of balance within that itself.
Well, you got to unplug, and you got Eli and I can talk all day about creative stuff, but it's like at some point in time, it's like, all right, you need to shut up, and I need to shut up, and we need to go find it within ourselves now. And then when we come back to have the second conversation, it's about what now we filtered it through us, because you can compromise so much so to where you're left with this hodgepodge of ideas as opposed to where somebody comes and filters that through what they would have done. Right. And somebody sits down and is like, I've got the next thing. And it's like, okay, what is it? Perfect. It's it.
Yeah.
If there's an aspect of a thing that you're working on, somebody else could work on that and bring it back to take that piece off, work on it, bring it back, and then you got a whole little thing that you're combining together. I mean, it's more efficient in an in-person kind of
You
setting.
need team creativity, but you also need individual creativity.
Exactly. Yeah.
And individuals have a hard time creating in the team environment when everyone's shouting their out there. It's hard to think about what you would do next when the ideas are flying fast and furious. But if you're sitting there home alone and you can really kind of come up with something, then it helps.
Yeah, you bounce off the ideas in person, but then you separate each and marinate on it.
Sure.
And then you bring it back to the table.
Yeah.
So there has to be that balance. I totally agree.
100%.
So then he goes on to say that he addressed how the company will respond and adapt to changing technologies. And I quote, he says this, he says, nothing is going to stop technological advancement, adding that Disney has typically embraced new technology to tell better stories. To that end, Iger mentioned drawings and videos generated by artificial intelligence programs as being kind of interesting, quote unquote, and quote, something that at some point in the future the company will embrace. And he added, however, that such a move is likely a long way off.
He need to not worry about that. He need to worry about how to get that technology of making his parks more efficient.
Well, and telling better stories within his parks, because if you're going to tell me Frozen Ever After is a version of a good story, hey, Elsa's having a celebration of ice powers that you're all celebrating, which is exactly what I think the new Splash Mountain's going to be. There's not going to be a story. There's not going to be stakes. There's not going to be oh, what's going on? Oh, somebody's going after so-and-so. Someone's trying to capture. No, it's celebration! Yay!
Celebration!
Hullabaloo! And
it reminds me of Robin Williams.
How you doing?
Ganja! Celebration! Hoopla! Hey! Yeah. Cool. All right. So the next thing he talked about, this is the big one. There's a lot of parts of this one.
Okay.
On Monday, he told employees that inclusion and acceptance are among the core values of the company's storytelling.
No, it's not.
And I quote, he says, this company has been telling stories for 100 years, and those stories have had a meaningful, positive impact on the world. And one of the reasons they have had a meaningful, positive impact is because one of the core values of our storytelling is inclusion, acceptance, and tolerance, and we can't lose that.
Okay, that's why
I took him into the 2000s to have a Black Prince.
Right. Most of them stories that you took were basic, fairy tales that were already in existence.
Exactly.
And you took them and then you animated them very well, and you did your thing. And then the next thing you bought was stories that had been around longer than you were even aware of them, so that when you bought them, because they had already made their own success, then you said, okay, we're going to take it. What part of your not you, but what part of the statement in that says, we are so original that what we made just work? No, you just emphasize stuff that was already. You just enhance something that was already there, but that's not yours. None of it is yours.
Well, let me add this.
It's like story gentrification. What it is.
We didn't land on Princess and the Frog. Yeah. Princess and the Frog landed on us.
That's right.
All right, so
Got that goddamn.
to go along with all of that,
Yes.
Okay.
and we're talking about when it comes to Disney's stance on taking political stances. Iger was reported to have given a nuanced and statesman-like response. And I quote, he says, "I think there is a misperception here about what politics is. Some of the subjects that have been proven to be controversial as it relates to Disney have been branded as political, and I don't think they are. Do I like the company being embroiled in controversy? Of course not. And he also noted that to the extent that I can quiet things down, he will try to do so."
I know you want to take this one, right?
No, I have no desire to take this. I don't even know what the hell he said.
I think he's trying to say that it's not their fault that things happen to them with like all of the drama and the wokeness and
Making
all that other
things
stuff.
political.
And that they've been dragged into a lot of this stuff, and that's not his intention to make the decisions as his predecessor, would you say, did, and that's what killed him off. But
Wait,
hey,
you talking about Eisner?
no, I'm sorry, I didn't know
Chapek, yeah.
because wouldn't he be his predecessor technically? Who cares? Yeah.
It's like an Oreo sandwich.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying?
Chapek's a cream in the middle.
He's coming back to just say, hey, look, the stuff that made this guy look bad, we're going to make sure that just never happens.
Well, he says, and he literally says, like, the things that were that proven to be controversial as relates to Disney has been branded as political. So the things that that Disney has done, people are thinking is political moves.
Right, like that law stuff that happened before and all that junk.
Some of what they have done can be construed as being political.
But that's what has to happen. You can't be an entity like that, tie yourself into the government and regulations of another state, be the main thing that generates money in that
Not
state.
play that game? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think you cannot play that game.
But you had to play the politics is part of the.
It's like war games. The only winning move is not to play.
But that's the thing,
right.
though. It sounds like he's going to play the game, but he's going to try to chill things out.
Trying to play the game.
He's
He
just
wants to
gonna
chill
be-
things out.
He's just going to be better at playing the game than what Chapek was.
Yeah.
Chapek was a goof when it came to playing the game. No offense to Chapek.
No.
But he was a goof when it came to playing the game. Iger is,
He's
chess
just
master.
Yeah, he's good at swallowing over.
He knows how to say stuff without saying stuff.
Yeah.
But if we're going to sit here and suggest that they're not going to do the same thing and include stuff in their movies and TV shows, that it's going to push the envelope in the favor of whatever social media is leaning that particular week, yeah, no, he's going to do that too.
As long as the
pays the bills.
stockholders don't get too upset about it.
Well,
That's all that comes
He's going to
down
do it in a more gentle manner.
Pretty much if
He's going to throw some butter along with that, too.
Yes, if
And
the
pickles.
culture at will is willing to still donate money, lots of money, and still invest in all of that stuff to get them out of the hole. This is not about just saying I'm for you, the people, and all that. This is pretty much
This is about
business.
It's about tact
Yeah, well, it's
in the way you present it.
I mean, this is pretty much a good strategy in the sense that this is your business, right?
Right.
The people that got you in were the stockholders, not the woke folks. The woke folks didn't come in and say, "Hey, we vote for you, Iger. You the man. You come back." You know, that's not what happened.
Right. All right, so I'm going to read this one other piece that had happened during this whole political thing, and I'm going to toss it to Lee because no doubt he's probably one of the more political guys on this podcast.
Oh, Lee's the only political guy in this podcast.
Absolutely.
And so I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to toss it to him and see what I want to get his thoughts on this.
Okay.
But to go along with all of this that we just spoke about, Iger was asked about Disney's tense relationship with the state of Florida, which he has sought to. The state of Florida has sought to revoke the Reedy Creek Improvement District that houses Walt Disney World
Yeah, I remember that.
after the company's response to the state's so-called "Don't Say Gay" bill. And I quote: He says this. He says, Iger says, "I had no idea what its ramifications are in terms of business itself. But the state of Florida has been very important to us for a very long time, and we have been very important to the state of Florida." So this is what it was as of Monday. So with all that being said, with everything that we're talking about with the political stuff, with the Disney, because that's definitely one thing that Iger has to fix. Lee, what are your thoughts about all of this state? in Disney, politics, Florida, DeSantis, blah, blah, blah?
Well, the first thought I had when you were reading all this stuff is I said, the companies that are really inclusive and things of that nature don't have to tell you that they're inclusive. It's just known. It's just the way it is. Like, it's just part of their company. It's part of their culture. So I do like the fact that Disney, is standing behind its employees for things like this, like the Don't Say Gay bill and things of that nature. I don't think it needed to be as big of a deal as it was made out to be. I think that if Chapek would have just stated the obvious from the beginning that they're an inclusive company and, what have you, then there would have been no controversy. But, he kind of fumbled the ball there and didn't really have his employees back, so to speak.
Or maybe Arthur Bachner did it, right?
I think
strategic communications guy messed it up for him. I don't know.
I think he didn't know how to communicate it.
Right, yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Well, I think he fumbled the ball a bit, but I also don't think it helped when Bob Iger tweeted out, "I stand with the president, and this bill would be a horrible thing for LGBTQ people in the world," and stuff like that. So when I think that there was a little bit of Chapek was damned if he did and damned if he didn't on this one.
Yeah, but I mean, he still came across as non-supportive, and he dragged his feet on it. It's the best way to say it.
I don't know if he came across as non-supportive. I think he came across as supportive. I think that there were other factors out there that tore him down. Like when it came to this, where he came out originally, and I think he pretty much said, look, our best way to go ahead, we believe in inclusion, and we do this stuff, and we do it behind the scenes, and the best way to do it is through our stories and the things we tell. And employees and everybody said, that's not good enough, and they went against him. And Bob Iger was one of those people who stood up and said, nope, that's not it. That ain't it. Nope. And then Chapek reverse course, went all in and said, you know what, now, not only are we into it, we're into it so much so, we're going to get this son of a bitch repealed. And then that's when DeSantis was like, oh, really?
Right, yeah.
You coming at me?
Want to play in our pond, you're saying?
That being said, isn't this whole Reedy Creek thing now starting to go away? Like, I've read...
Well, we're going to get to that a little bit later in the timeline, Lee. That's correct. Yeah, we're going to get to that.
So that's interesting, too.
It's alleged, Lee. It's alleged. Yeah. Nothing's been proven.
I mean...
We'll talk about it in a little bit.
Yeah, again. But I think that's, again, part of... just shows that, this was really a non-issue, but someone wanted to make it an issue.
Yes, and I don't think it was Chapek, and I think Chapek could have done it a little bit more if he was as savvy as Iger, could have done it a little bit better. I don't think there was anything wrong with what he did. He tried to stay out of it, but kind of stay in it, and I think it was just such a hot-button issue that it was like The Godfather, like they just dragged him down into this. And it was like, no, you don't get this. We're making this a thing. I mean, my God, the bill itself was strategically mislabeled the Don't Say Gay bill, even though the bill actually says nothing about saying the word gay. This was a political hot-button issue. And Disney got dragged into the mire of this. This is why I stay away from this crap.
Yeah, you don't win in this kind of situation. You don't.
I like
it's kind of like in New Orleans when you try to dig underground and the water table is so high, and then you hit water and you're like, oh, I got to deal with this now. I can't back away from it because here's the water coming.
Yeah.
I like watching Bill Maher because I like people who make fun of this kind of stuff. And Bill Maher, basically, when addressing the Don't Say Gay bill, he's like, the Don't Say Gay bill that doesn't actually say Don't Say Gay and could have just as easily been called the Let's Do Things the Way We Used to Do Them 3 years ago. Something to that effect. I can't remember exactly what it was 3 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't remember what it was. It was basically like, it was a lot of stuff about nothing. And it was just that, this was something, and I think Iger used this to his advantage because Iger did not like Chapek. At all. After this transition had started, he was privately and publicly bashing him nonstop.
It's been reported, yeah.
Yes, the idea that Bob Iger wouldn't have used this as a means to needle Bob Chapek, to just say, look at how bad he is at his job, when people were saying, yeah, it was uncomfortable being in the room with this guy. He would badmouth him so much. that I think that this is one of those occasions.
I said that they should buy the MMA thing, let them two fight it out there.
Oh, that'd be great.
I hate that level of politicking where, you try to do just your job, figure out something, some dude come in and say, he garbage, you garbage. Like, wait, let me get in there, man. Then you want to clock him in the mouth one good time, but you can't because you're in a suit, you know what I'm saying? But they're like, yeah. Like if Chapek, like, how about I clock you with this
You got
right?
to clop in the mouth in a different way.
Exactly.
You got to play that political boxing
Tell
game.
him this broken clock is right 2 times, right in your mouth. How that?
Man, that would be a Disney war I'd love to see.
Yeah.
The Disney war to settle the score.
Yeah.
Cage match.
Who wants it? Take the ad off on that. I'll pay the extra $7.
Bob versus Bob.
Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get the title today?
Pornhub. Bob on Bob action.
Oh man.
All right, so next thing we have is that Iger joked that his wife, Willow Bay, told him that he should run Disney again so that he wouldn't run for U.S. president, something that was reported to have thought about in the past.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
It was a thing, yeah.
Oh, back when people were like, yeah, oh no, he wants out. He doesn't want to be a part of Disney, even though that has been refuted 1,000 times over. But yeah, that was one of the things that was being put. And I think that would have been the only thing that would have drew him away from Disney.
Oh, the presidency? Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
Bob likes money and power. And
prestige.
Yes.
Publicness.
There's not a question. There's nothing
Willow
about
Bay is
this
like,
man.
nope.
Yep.
Nope, no ma'am. And Willow Bay, his wife, I did some research on her, and she's quite impressive in her own right. So, yeah, she definitely
I'm
has
looking
a lot
at her
of
right
clout.
now. She's pretty impressive.
She's pretty impressive, and she's got the clout to back her up, man. Dean of USC in 2017. She's a former model, currently a journalist.
I was gonna say that
all
name
kind of
sounds
stuff.
really familiar.
She's a journalist.
She's strong in and of herself, man. So
This lady had a talk show a long time ago.
she did, yes.
I remember.
It's a second
this.
wife, to be fair. It's a second wife, but she's like,
Oh,
you ain't going presidency.
wait a minute. Wait, who was his first wife?
His first wife was Kathleen Susan Iger, but they split in 1994 after having 2 children together, Amanda and Kate. And then a year later, after they split, he married Willow Bay, and they've been together ever since 1994.
Oh my god! Because I was sitting there like, man, that name sounds really like weird. But after I looked at it, I was like, yeah, she had it.
So Iger's got 4 kids. So because Iger and Willow Bay had 2 children, Robert and William, and Amanda and Kate. So they got.
So how this man got 4 kids? Don't know nothing about creativity.
He got 4 kids. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the secret.
Well, and he traded in his old wife for the newer model.
He got a new
Yes, he
acquisition.
did.
There you go.
New acquisition. Speaking of acquisition.
New acquisition. New acquisition.
That's what he specializes in.
Yep, he does. He does, doesn't
Is
he?
it? Then he ruins it. Okay, never mind. Go
All right,
ahead.
speaking of that, Iger also told staffers that rumors of a merger or a deal with Apple were just that, pure speculation. And the reason why I include that in here, because that was bouncing around all of the first week of Iger's CEO-ness, that Apple was going to buy Disney. That's why he's there, blah, 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 blah. The Disney fan universe was all ablaze about it. Not that I know if it's true or not, but Iger told the people that, hey, it's just speculation.
Well, but that's
Not that it's false or
Yeah.
it's true.
That's the thing. It's like he's not saying, okay, that's complete BS. We would never do that. No, he's saying it's just pure speculation at the moment.
Yeah.
But it could turn out to be very, very, very real.
Which is crazy because Disney's never been owned by another company.
How
No,
much?
I would
and
be surprised.
hate that.
I would hate that too. I'd be surprised if they allow that to happen.
I don't think it'll happen.
I don't think so either.
Because, I mean, I can't imagine, and I could be wrong, and because I really don't, Bob Iger doesn't seem to have a soul to me as a human being. Like, he seems somebody who's willing to do whatever he needs to do to propagate himself to the next
Level
savior
of financial
of Disney.
hate.
Yes. But I just can't imagine this guy would come back to run this company
Just to sell it.
just to sell it off.
Yeah.
Like, that to me would be the ultimate admission. Like, yeah, I screwed it up.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know how it is that most Disney fans don't see that so many of these problems that we're dealing with to this day were started by Bob's business practices.
Himself, yeah.
Yeah, but he has successfully pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes. But so I don't know this man in any way, shape, or form. I don't know what he would or would not do. It's hard for me to believe that he would come back just to sell it.
I hope that Apple wouldn't buy Disney because I would not want to try to make reservations or whatever and just see like the circle just going around.
And the beach ball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, God, yeah. It's like, well, if you book with an iPhone, you get 120 days in
yes.
advance for your Genie Plus.
You can book with the Windows machine, you get like 200 days.
You got to book
No, you don't get 200. You get 1 day. You get 1 day in
Yeah.
advance. Sorry.
Yeah, they
200
keep-
days will be an advantage. 1 day
keep-
would be less advantage.
Come up with updates. The updates keep breaking, so there's another update. I don't.
Disney versus
can't do it.
Microsoft and all kinds
I
of crazy
can't. I can't do it. Music would probably be way better and clearer and stuff like that. Everything would be like a lot more polished. But I don't think that would. I would hope that he wouldn't do that because there's really I have nothing against Apple or nothing except they're just really overpriced. But
I think it's silly. I think they're on the same level as far as juggernaut businesses.
yes, strictly business, but they're like two different. That'd be like Popeyes buying Burger King. Like you do chicken, not burgers. Like what are you doing? That doesn't match. There's no.
They got
synergy
Apple.
there.
Look, I think we're assuming that he would sell them everything. What if he's just there to sell them a little something?
Like
what if
a
it's just
Hulu or
streaming?
something?
The parks?
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's selling the parks, but I mean, like, what if he's like
channels I can
look,
see.
the streaming thing, Disney Plus, Apple
TV.
you know,
That'd be
maybe we
interesting.
merge that. Like, I could see
Because
him
Apple's
doing-
got Apple Plus,
right,
and they got a killer series in
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. Granted,
Yeah.
they haven't released it in anything in a while.
Right.
So they have a better streaming service. I don't own Apple TV, so I'm just.
I had
I'm
Apple
just kidding.
TV for a while. I mean, it's like any streaming service.
Yeah, it's
you
the
watch it, and then
same.
after a while, you can just disconnect it for like 3 or 4 months. That's
Until they decide to bring something back.
right. That's why I'm thinking about just canceling Disney Plus right now and just being like, you know what? I'll just go on a monthly thing because y'all just renewed it on me. You didn't even send me an email saying, hey, guess what? We're about ready to renew it on you. So
with you.
70 plus $80 are going to be disappearing out of your checking account. No.
Yeah,
All
I-
Disney customers.
I'd like to be
Sorry.
talked to about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
They just assume the sale. They're like, "Oh, you want this, right?
Yeah.
All right, we get. That's cool.
You
Don't
got
worry about it.
$80
We're
in
gonna,
your
make it,
account.
Yeah.
we're gonna make this convenient for you. Don't worry about it."
Yeah,
worry
we'll
about it.
take care of it.
No problem.
Yeah.
No
And
problem.
most
I take
people are like,
that.
yeah, that's all right.
I'm like, wait. That was my groceries.
There goes my Pop-Tart.
That's it. Those my Pop-Tarts for the month right there.
So next point that he has, Iger was also asked, because he did basically like a few minutes of his own stuff, and then he addressed a bunch of questions during this thing. But Iger was asked about Disney's plan to move Imagineering from California to Florida, to Lake Nona. We've heard about this in the news. But no comments were made regarding its relocation of employees to Central Florida. But he did say he was aware of the relocation had been delayed, but he hasn't made any decision on it. So basically, it's at a standstill at the moment, whether they're going to move Imagination to Florida or not. And along with those same lines, no comments were made regarding the park reservation system. Iger said that he hasn't used it, but he wants to hear from Josh DeMauro about it before saying anything on it.
What a stupid comment. I didn't use it. I don't know anything.
I get to the front of the line on everything. What do I need it for? I'm a
that's true.
VIP. I just walk in the park, get on what I want.
Right.
You know, why aren't y'all doing that?
From a business standpoint, I can understand listening to your executive that has to deal with that crap every day, the park reservation system, to get the actual facts on it. So in kind of a way, I'm like, okay, respect. Yeah, you've never used it because you've never really had to. But at the same
You also
time,
don't want to cut the knees out from the guy that's in charge of that too. It's like, well, you know, that's why I have this guy. That's why I have this guy here.
but not to cut the knees out, but you want to get the information from the guy that has to deal with it every day. Like, you know, if like Eli was drawing comics and I was about to make a decision that was going to impact him, I want to know the facts before I make such a decision of whether or not it's going to be a good idea or not.
Well, right, but that'd be like saying, like, okay, you just took over Burger King. You know what you call it? Are you gonna keep selling the Whopper? I don't know. I haven't had one yet. Okay, but you're aware that this is something that your company is putting out there. You know, like, are you?
But you got to know whether it's a big selling item or if it's actually a quality product that needs to happen,
It's
or if
if
it's a necessity to keep your business viable.
Well, and good. Say that. Yeah. Don't tell me, I don't know, I never tried it.
You want him to be more exact in what he's saying.
I want him to be like, hey, look, let me get the data on this. I'll get back to you and stuff like that. There might be a reason we're doing this. To say that I haven't tried it, we try it. It sucks. That's what we're bitching about. It.
Yeah, that makes sense. So instead of saying that, you would like them to be a little more exact. You want to know, is this something that's viable? Is this something we need to keep doing? Is this actually helping our bottom line? Blah, blah, blah.
This is why I like talking to Kevin, because Kevin has a way of being like, so what you're saying is this, and he cleans up what I'm saying, or at least boils it down to something that makes sense.
Meanwhile, I was dying off that WAP analogy. I like that.
Oh, no, that's a good analogy.
My
Absolutely.
chest hurts. Oh, that was funny.
I mean, granted, I don't think the park reservation's on the level of Whopper. I mean, I was upset when Burger King got rid of their chicken sandwiches.
That's because you can get a Whopper. It's still hard to get a reservation.
It's hard to get. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, buddy. Damn straight. Oh God! Look at that!
You set
Look
that
at
one
that.
up, man.
That was you hit it, man. You hit it out the park. That was good.
He put that one up, man.
Yeah, but you
that
closed
was
it. You closed it.
Hey, look, I know we spend a lot of time, but to wrap it up,
all right,
on this Monday, the town hall, toward the end of his remarks, Iger noted that he wouldn't have come back if he didn't believe that Disney's future is bright.
Come on, well, it has to be.
You're so bright, you got to wear shades.
How about that? That was Monday.
That's optimism right there.
It's bright.
I think Disney's future could be incredibly bright.
Communication.
But when you're putting it in the hands of somebody who has darkened their brightest franchises and taken their parks and added next to nothing in terms of capacity.
Yeah.
Like, look, in order for Disney's future to be bright, we'd have to see a different style of management under Bob Iger that we hadn't seen up until this point. And I am willing to give him that leeway. I mean, I am not rooting for Disney to fail. I don't care who. To me, it's like, hey, I'm a Democrat. I voted for a Democrat. A Republican won. I want everything to fail because I want it to be. No, I live in this country. Like, I want Bob Iger to succeed.
It has to succeed.
Because that's the only way forward for Disney. Have I seen anything that gives me any confidence in this man's ability outside of a good BS story? Like, this guy is really good at BSing. And Chapek was...
not good at BSing.
No, not at all. But
yeah, he was terrible.
So, I'm casting my lot in with Bob. I'm hoping... I said it before when Bob Chapek got announced to see it, give Iger a chance. I'm right back there with Bob Iger. Give Iger a chance.
All Danny's saying
give Iger a chance.
Iger a chance.
100%. Like, I am willing to, go in there and knock this one out of the park. I would love that. I would love to be wrong because I would rather Disney be great and me be wrong. I'd rather have an affordable family vacation and me be wrong. I'd rather have great entertainment and me be wrong. And
I'd rather pay to go see a movie with awesome storytelling and us be wrong.
Thank you.
Than the status quo. He's even led the whole thing on Monday with the town hall. There's no status quo. Mm-hmm. So that invokes that anything can happen, anything can change. So it's as if we were talking about with the creative stuff, is that you're talking this talk, man. I want to see you walk the walk. You got 2 years.
Absolutely.
We're gonna be watching.
Let's just all pause for a second to realize that the future of Disney and being able to adapt with the times and being able to provide new content and being able to present it in an energetic, creative, new, inventive way is in the hands of a guy who's over 70.
Don't get no more progressives than that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But hey, diversity, inclusion, all that nonsense.
But he married twice, so he can relive himself again. That's not that
diversity, inclusion, all that hot garbage. And, except for when it comes to the theme parks, because if you're poor,
sorry,
F you, pay me.
Yeah.
You're middle class, you're gonna F you, pay me.
Prove us wrong. Prove us wrong. Make it easier to book that vacation. Make it a job easier on Lee.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So moving on to another day. No, that was that Monday.
I gotta say it was a good day.
That was that Monday. Here we go.
Hey, that was just Monday?
That was just Monday.
What day is this?
This is Tuesday, November 29th,
Holy
2022.
crap. Wow.
Day after the town hall, Shanghai Disneyland Resort's theme park was closed as China attempts to tackle record daily COVID-19 cases. Disney said that the park will be temporarily closed from Tuesday, and I quote, in order to follow the requirements of pandemic prevention and control.
Oh, shit.
It's-
This is how
it's-
this started before.
Yeah, and it's good due to note that it only reopened last week after a 25-day shutdown. And currently, according to Shanghai Disneyland's website, they are still closed with zero indication of when they will reopen.
Wow.
So the park currently is still closed. I checked this morning.
Okay.
We're recording on Sunday, the 4th of December. It's still closed with no indication of when they will reopen.
And I'm proud to be an American.
What?
Where at least I know COVID's over.
Yeah. Got my shots and boosters too.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about that.
And I gladly stand up next to you in line to ride Big Thunder.
Yeah.
But you know what, Danny? What's funny about that is that Shanghai Disneyland shopping and dining district, Disneytown, and its 2 resorts hotels will remain open.
All right.
So
well,
they can still make a little bit of money.
don't let me down, Chinatown.
We can so in other words, we can sell you stuff, but
Yeah.
we can't give you stuff back like rides.
Look.
Oh, fun.
I could be wrong. We were joking, we were laughing, we were having, but I could be wrong. But I just don't think there's any way in hell Americans will stand for that again.
Probably not.
What, the
No.
shutdown?
Oh, yeah.
No way
a
in hell.
shutdown.
No.
Yeah,
It'll never happen.
Not a
It'll
chance.
never happen again.
I don't give a damn how many new cases show up. I think America is canceled COVID.
Well, cancel
and I'm not a
never went
fan of
away.
cancel culture, but this is one I can get behind. If we've
Yeah.
canceled COVID, 100%.
Okay, well, COVID never went away. It just didn't get as much publicity as it used to. You know, I get that. But I think on one note, I would say I want the brand to always thrive. But I don't know, like, it's just a little petty part of me. I want this guy to go through, like, a set of challenges. You know, like Lionel or some. I want him to get, like, the set of challenges that, you know, Chapek had. And again, like we said, I'm not a Chapek dude or not like, I just want to see how does that work when things don't work well for you on that scale.
You want
How
to
do
prove himself.
Yeah, like how do you deal with it? Because you can easily go up there, give all the good talk, but see, that's how it
You got to
started.
walk the walk.
Yeah, when
you got to walk the walk.
When Shanghai Disney closed, I'd be like, oh, well, you know, as I hear, then it came here, and then everybody like, oh, and then they lost money. But he didn't have to deal with that because he knew that was coming. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, he bounced off.
Retained his title.
And that's why
all that happened again.
Right, and that's why I included this in this little timeline because that literally happened during his watch.
Yeah.
They said we got to close. We're dealing with this. Money, revenues being gone out of the parks. Yeah, you got a little bit of the shopping district and hotels, but the reason why people are in the hotels and maybe the shopping stuff is because of the park.
Yeah. Let's see how fickle the shareholders are when your neck is hanging on the line when something really big is going on. Because it's easy to stand back and watch the other guy, you know, take the hit and comment and criticize. But what happens when your neck is on the line?
You know, that's the thing too. Is like you know, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's like even though I'm on the brink of having to retire, when I'm faced with
You're on the brink of having to retire?
No. Like if I was in the brink of having to retire from a company,
Hypothetically.
and there's like a thing that was coming down the
if you were
pipe.
sick.
No, I'm not sick.
Okay.
But if there was a thing that was coming down that was worldwide that was about to affect my business, I don't know if I could step away from that. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I would stick through it, at least try to help it through.
We all said it when it happened that was the biggest. We just did not know what the logic behind that was. Is that you could see it coming a mile away, and within weeks the parks were closing. I mean, I said it when we were talking about it at the time. I was like, I really kind of felt like history would have been kinder to Bob Chapek to kind of be handed this sandwich and say, no, I'll eat it. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to eat this sandwich, and I'm going to do the best I can. And for people to be like, yeah, no, the guy we want in there who's going to make everything right is the guy who tucked and run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's very
He's
well
got
put.
some things to prove here, I think.
Absolutely.
I agree.
You know, and me itself, I was running the thing. I don't know if I could do that. It's like
No.
I couldn't step away from knowing that that's coming down the pipe.
No.
No, I mean, if you care about the organization, you don't run.
Right.
You know,
No.
but if you just like, these people dogged me out, they didn't put me on the pedestal, screw them.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm a Disney fan, so of course, I'm going to care about the thing.
It's part of the mystique of Iger that I don't understand how people don't see that the Emperor's wearing no clothes. I just don't understand it. I've tried to. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, if this is to culminate a lot of stuff that you said from, this Iger watch, if you will, there's the thing of him saying, hey, what's fiction and what's real, this is Disney, is blended. Well, the story is always that everything's happy, that here comes even Stan Lee said this is how you do a comic book. You introduce the people, you put in a big threat, and then the heroes beat it. This guy has never done that. And again, Chapek tried to do it, didn't do it well, but he at least stood in the mix. So if you're going to say, you're the hero of the story, that's what the stories are about, that's what Disney presents, and that's where you're taking it, this is the best triumph story ever made if you could go ahead and beat this. This is better than Daniel doing the crane kick on Johnny if he could go ahead and make this thing successful.
Right.
For all of Iger's carefulness and consideration and creativity and consideration and all that crap, all that hot garbage that he spews, I feel like Michael Eisner could have drunk stumbled his way into, as Kevin runs out of the door to go take a bathroom break, I think he could have drunk stumbled his way into just as many hits in the 20 plus years or whatever it is it's been that Iger has run the company as Bob Iger actually did.
Yeah, there was in the beginning. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
and it's always good when things are sweet. I mean, it's always good when you have the honeymoon period, with the girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see that stripper for the first time, and it's magic. Yeah, but then once other dudes get involved, and once other problems start to happen, and once reality sets in, if you like, well, I don't want to have nothing to do with you, as this man has demonstrated me, he got him a second wife. Just saying, there's something to be learned about that. I
don't want to comment on the second wife thing, but it does go to show.
It was
like,
real
you're right.
though. She had a cool show.
Yeah, she had a cool show. She was a very beautiful woman, but at the same time, it does go to show, like, if this ain't working, I can just find something else.
I can find and if the shareholders are like, hey, we don't talk to shareholders or not like that. But I know
we would love to.
Please.
We would talk to a shareholder
Please
tomorrow.
sign up. Tell us what we're doing right or
Any
wrong.
shareholders want to come to Magic Our Way podcast and talk to us about your experiences, let us know.
Let us know. And we'll disguise your name, hide your voice, hide your wife, all that, witness protection if you need to. But, absolutely. Because if they think that something's going to be peachy from the time that he had acquired all that property and stuff like that, and they just think that golden moment is going to show up again because he's in. Well, you're wrong. It's not the same thing. That's not how it all works.
No.
That was the past. This is the present. And everything in that aspect has changed. The culture and everything that Disney's gone through under Chapek has changed. This dude can't just show up, give you some words, and fix it. That's some real put your hands in the dirt grinding he's got to do.
I agree with you, and I'm waiting to see how he handles it. Like, this is 2 weeks in. That's why I thought this was an intriguing topic. 2 weeks in, let's see what he's doing already. Is he doing well? Like, and hopefully at the end of this, we'll give him a grade in his first 2 weeks.
Woo, I hope
great.
so.
Oh,
all right.
boy.
Well,
Okay.
here we go. So the next day, there wasn't much happening on Wednesday.
Okay.
But here comes Thursday.
Because of Magic Our Way podcast.
That's right. Oh, Magic Our Way podcast on Wednesday happened.
Yes, that's what happened.
That's why he didn't release anything.
Stops.
That's
Had
right.
to stop.
Right.
Disney stops, and so that's why nothing happened on Wednesday.
Yes.
But on Thursday, the next day after our show was released, Disney stated that they are committed to pouring significant funds into its parks. Now, this one's thick. Let me explain how this works. In a filing with the...
This is already bullshit, but okay.
Yes. So that's what they say. They're committed to pouring significant funds into the parks. In a filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Walt Disney Company has disclosed that it plans on increasing its capital expenditure projects by 37% in fiscal 2023 compared to fiscal 2022, which ended on October 1st, 2022. It just recently ended. The Disney Parks Experiences and Products Division accounts for the majority of the capital expenditure spend for the company. So Disney Parks and Experiences and Products, they're the biggest spenders of that money that they're allotting to that. So just to give you a little explanation of what capital expenditure is, commonly referred to as CAPEX, capital expenditure is a finance term referring to money spent improving or increasing a company's physical assets.
Capex?
CAPEX, yes. So CAPEX. So in other words, Disney plans to improve current parks with features like new rides or maybe even develop new ones.
Yeah.
So this comes in a response to Comcast's significant investment into building an entirely new park, Epic Universe, at Universal Studios Florida. Comcast is who owns Universal. It is currently under construction to be ready for opening in summer 2025. So this is their response to Universal's plans to do all the stuff. As we've talked about before, Universal's doing pretty damn good.
So they're gonna still amp the Marvel rides that are over there, huh?
Probably, yeah, I guess so. But to finish this up, Comcast CEO Brian Roberts said during a fall earnings call, now this was during his earnings call, which of course we know that Chapek fumbled immensely. He said during this earnings call that I quote, "I'm especially excited for Epic Universe to open in summer of 2025, which will transform Universal Orlando into a week-long destination." Roberts also mentioned future plans to open Super Nintendo World in Hollywood in 2023, as well as a Donkey Kong area in Japan Super Nintendo World in 2024. Now, do I doubt that they're going to do that? Absolutely not. I guarantee you that that's exactly when they're going to do it and what they're going to do. Because Universal has proven time and time again recently that they're going to do that. It's going to happen.
Okay, so here's what I would say.
Yes.
Two things. One, I'll believe it when I see it when it comes to Disney.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
I will believe. I'm scoffing over here and I'm laughing only because when they had gazillions of dollars that they could have invested in the theme park, they just used it to acquire other assets that they knew nothing about how to capitalize on or what to do with. Is that fair?
That's totally fair.
That's totally fair. No,
Totally fair.
that's exactly. Yeah, put your money where your mouth is, brother.
Two,
Yes.
Super Nintendo World, Disney could beat that. Disney could beat that fairly easily. Super Nintendo World, like really? Like that's the next big iteration. Look, I know Epic Universe is more than that, and the monster section definitely intrigues me and stuff like that. And just having another gate, people like what's new. But with everything that Disney owns, you mean to tell me we can't do better than? I mean, but then you saw what we did under Bob Iger with Galaxy's Edge. That was a low rent version of what we thought we were going to get with a Star Wars property. Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, we could have done more with that. We could have done a whole thing where we're on some planet.
Nowhere.
Nowhere, yes.
Yeah, but what was the other place? There was another one.
Where the golden people live?
Yeah, no, not the golden people. No, it's the place where they were. Doesn't matter. It's just, bottom line is that there's so much. Like, take what Bob Chapek did. And this is, again, to me, one of the biggest things where it's a critique of Chapek is D23. All the things that they said we might do. We're not saying we're going to do it. Mm-hmm. We just said we might do it. Any of those properties, Moana would be a great property. I mean, not Journey of Water. That sounds like to me.
Sound like bathroom.
Exactly. It's like
Sounds like a bathroom.
that sounds like Super Mario World. Like that could just be Super Mario 4, the Journey of Water.
He jumps through
with
pipes.
2 plumbers.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know what's funny about that? That would be better.
Yes, it would.
I think that would be Super Nintendo World. The Journey of Water Mario would be better than Moana Journey of Water.
But Disney could crush Universal like that, like a bug, like nothing. If they were willing to do it. But what are we doing here? I mean, we're all the way through Phase 4. Now, next up is Phase 5. We have no indication of when X-Men or Fantastic Four
or any
are
direction of which the next iteration of MCU is going.
How many millions did they spend on Fox, and what are we doing with all that?
Oh, a Christmas special with The Simpsons.
There you go.
Oh, Lord, okay.
So
absolutely, no, that's valid, man.
Could they? Yes. Will they? Probably not.
No, and Universal's proven time and time again they will do it.
They will swing for the fences.
You know, they already have it proven. I mean, we're talking about Universal Japan. They have Super Mario in Nintendo World, And I was watching videos about that just out of curiosity, and it's like, man, you could take your little band and bump this little question mark box, and things happen.
The idea that they would turn a game that was the most popular when I was a teenager into a theme park shows balls. I mean, they got balls. Like,
Well, the thing is that in the Mario, that whole world has continued way beyond us.
I mean, it's like a
there's
Nintendo Switch or something.
Yeah,
but
they got Super Mario, the Switch version. I mean, people love it.
I was,
Yeah,
most popular version.
My brother is 10 years younger than me, and he is going nuts hearing about all the Super Mario stuff. Like, he is into it.
I mean, I don't have a Switch,
more than
but
Harry Potter. Yeah.
the only reason why I'd buy a Switch is just to play that Mario game.
Okay.
And that's about it. But I haven't pull that trigger yet.
I mean, I was a Contra / Bionic Commando
I'm kinda
Nintendo
with
guy.
E. Yeah,
I was
Double
never
Dragon.
Double Dragon. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, all that stuff was great.
I never got the.
I mean, you got like the Smash Brothers stuff. I don't know how that's going to be incorporated.
Well, you got,
That's
like-
all, but
okay,
Smash
so
Brothers is
that's
Super
fun.
Smash Brothers,
Yeah.
Mario Kart. My kids love
That's
Mario
beyond
Kart.
That's a
Yeah.
amalgam
Our
of,
time frame,
of
Yeah.
characters, though. You could throw any character into that. So that makes sense for a Nintendo world. If you're like, okay, outside of this property, we got all these other things. That makes
Well, that's
sense.
the thing. Is like with Super Nintendo World, the Mario thing is gone beyond us.
But if,
So Super Mario Wii, Super Mario whatever, N64, all that stuff, I haven't played. But yeah, no, it's pretty damn big. Mario's still pretty relevant.
Can we do a little exercise real quick?
Yeah, sure,
I'm sorry.
okay.
Just
Sure.
A little exercise.
small exercise.
You can go to California, and there's a whole section based on Wakanda. You get to explore Wakanda. Or you get to go to Florida, and you get to explore Super Mario World, whatever they call it. What do you want to do?
I want to explore Wakanda.
I had to do both. I had to pick between
You got to
one.
pick. Yeah, you got to
okay.
pick. We got to pick one of the two.
Based upon the stuff that I've been exposed to, I would pick Super Mario World.
Wow. Okay.
Super Nintendo World, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
You
a
know
more,
what? I'm going to stop here then, because I'm surprised just to hear that. Okay.
Well, that's a more
I'm
far-out
surprised to hear
world.
myself say that, only because of the way they portrayed Wakanda as it is in the movies at the moment.
That's fair.
I'd be curious to see it, but it wasn't enough for me to be convinced about it. There's the part of Wakanda that I've seen in the cartoons, but granted, it still wasn't that much. So I still have yet to see, but I have played through a lot of those worlds of Super Mario and Nintendo and all that kind of stuff. And to be able to relate to those things to where, and I was watching this video, it's kind of interesting. You ought to check it out. It's like, they have a band of sorts and you can bump literal physical box and something will happen. And you can jump through, you can go through pipes, you can go into
Clever.
the water, you
So
can
clever.
go through, all
for
the
them.
worlds that you've known. You walk into one part in Japan, you see this big tower, you see Donkey Kong there, you see all kinds of stuff. It's like, oh my God, this is my childhood brought to life.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So that, I guess that's where the attachment, that's why the preference to Super Mario Nintendo World goes over Wakanda for me, because it does take me to that place. And it's like, even though a lot of the things may be different, like I know there's I didn't remember a Yoshi that I could get and ride a Yoshi and stuff like the
That was the third one, I think.
Yeah, there was that, and it was also in Super Mario Wii where you could ride a Yoshi, but I didn't know if any of that stuff would happen. But all that stuff can happen. It's pretty crazy.
Well, it would make sense though that you can say Super Mario's because it's really fictional. You gotta really stretch to make that world exist.
Yeah.
Wakanda, you can say, well, look, because it's all about then how that would happen. Because trust me, if there's a chance to see a walking mushroom, which I'd be scared of, or
Yeah, but you could jump on the mushroom and squish him out.
right, but I'm just saying, but as
Or a
opposed
rhino with armor.
armor on it, yes, or a flying ship, and then a world opens up. So it would depend. To your point, it would depend on
I'm with
what
E.
the presentation of it would
Exactly.
be.
Yeah, I would love to see both. Even the weird bongo drumming water thing to open up the gate. I don't understand that.
Right.
That was the first time I've seen it. I don't even know if that's in the comic. Is that in the comics?
What, him fighting and all
No,
that
when
stuff?
they hit the bongo water drums and then the gate opens and they fly into Wakanda.
No, usually they just.
Yeah, I was about to say, all right, yeah.
All right.
Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, an
But
expansion.
does Lee need to
Lee, you got something to say?
want to comment on that question? Yeah.
No, I just would add to what Kevin said. I think I might be torn between the two, but I think people that are like 10, 15 years younger than us, they're going to go Super Mario all day long.
Okay. An expansion of Galaxy's Edge, obviously not meant to be a part of Galaxy. they do tattooing. You got pod race simulations. You got Jabba's Palace. You've got the canteen bar where you can sit down and have a meal with your family. You got that or Super Mario World. What would you do?
Oh, I'd go over the expansion of Galaxy's Edge.
Tattooing.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, easily.
Easily.
I mean, if I'm not a big. I didn't really like the pod racing thing when I saw it.
It was just whatever popped in my head.
No.
Yeah, he's talking about all things associated with Tatooine.
Yeah,
that was, to be fair. Yeah, you have to include all of that.
I might can jump into Mario on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that's.
See, I would like to see both, but that's interesting. Yeah,
Well, yeah, I would want to see both, but like.
But if you had to pick, yeah.
If I had to, but again, it's about that. Look,
I think that's cool that we flip-flop like
yeah, but
that.
it's not.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like to Danny's point, and what he's saying is like, if both lands are thought out, and then whatever the actual pitch is, that would be the key.
But they have to be thought out well.
I'm going to stop here because I really kind of thought this would be a fun little exercise, but this is kind of getting way more intricate than I thought it would because I can keep going.
But I think it's a fair question.
Yeah,
this could lead to another show because that's definitely.
I guess what the point is, the overall point I was trying to make, and we can get to this in a future episode if we need to.
Absolutely, yeah.
But the overall point I was trying to make is I think Disney just has so much IP sitting around.
True. Yes.
Like just anybody can just pick it up off the floor. Like, well, why don't we just do this? Why don't we just do that? They could have done something with the theme parks a long time ago. Be it Marvel, be it Star Wars, be it any of the number of properties that they own. And Coco would have been a great ride in and of itself. Great ride. But nothing with Coco right now. Sad. Just really sad to see that they've never capitalized on that. Never capitalized on Moana like they should. This new thing that they're opening up is just garbage.
Dan, if I could inject here, if you could have given me Millennium's Falcon ride, where I got to ride through that scene in Star Wars where Han and Luke were fighting off the TIE fighters in those moving chairs. If you told me that was that ride about, I totally would be so amped for that. Instead, you gave me a Millennium Falcon, which is something I can relate to, but you gave me a completely new story, which I'm okay with. And then having a new story, but it wasn't something that was relatable to me like Super Nintendo World.
Give me a restaurant where I can go sit down in the Creature Canteen. I see that band up there. They're playing the music. They're out animatronics or whatever they're doing. And they're playing, and I can sit down and eat with my family. It's done. 100% of the time, done. Have a booth like where just like Han shows up. And signs autographs to the kids. And all right, kid, now get away from here. And then boom,
Han signed first.
Yeah,
Han signed. I like that.
That'll be kid.
And then Greedo will be like, "You want my autograph?" And then Han shoots him in the head.
Oh man!
All right, we need to move
The
on.
other guy didn't give his autograph, but he got his arm chopped off.
But I think that's fair though, Danny, because I think it has to be a balance. You have to have a balance between stuff that's relatable to when you were younger, but also I don't flout them for going for something that's completely new.
It's like you
have to give us something.
It's like I say, when it's a rich saying, I got more money in the cushions of my couch than you have in your pockets. Disney has more IP in the cushions of their couch that they could use to draw in people than what Universal has in their pockets.
They just got to do it right.
Yeah.
They just got to do it right.
Makes
100%.
me think if you're Universal, you just take all the video game IP they can and just make a land out of that. They really got some competition.
It's a sad thing that Universal has done it so much better.
Yep. And also, okay, so going on to that next day, here we go.
And to watch.
Friday, December 2nd, 2022. The question we asked is, has Iger brokered a truce with Florida? Florida lawmakers are reportedly working to reverse a law stripping Disney of its special tax status in the state. That's the whole Reedy Creek Improvement District thing. The Financial Times reports after a feud between Governor Ron DeSantis and Bob Chapek, the company, of course, we know who he is. If passed, that new legislation would undo much of the fallout of what the critics call the Don't Say Gay bill that had made the entertainment giant Disney a target of conservative critics. And it would be a quick victory for Disney's newly returned chief, Robert Iger. Iger said that he was sorry, and I quote, he was sorry to see us get dragged into a political fight, adding that the state of Florida has been important for us for a long time, and we have been very important to the state of Florida. Randy Fine, the legislator who drafted the bill that stripped Disney's control over the area, told the Financial Times, a journal, and I have links for that in our show notes, and he says, Randy Fine says this, and I quote, "It is easier to shift policy when you don't have to defend the old policy. Chapek screwed up, but Bob Iger doesn't have to own that screw up." Now, to all of this, DeSantis replied, and I quote, "We didn't drag them in, them being Disney.
Mm-hmm.
They went in on their own and not only opposed the bill, but threatened to get it repealed."
Mm-hmm.
And on that same day, DeSantis' deputy press secretary, Jeremy Redfern, went on to say, and I quote, "The Florida governor does not make U-turns." So this all happened on Friday of week 2 of Iger's issue. So this is definitely something he has to deal with.
If DeSantis does this, I'd be shocked. I would be shocked. But because, I mean, there's no way to look at this. If they walk out of there and Reedy Creek keeps its own autonomous district where it can decide, look, I don't even want to get caught up in the beyond. Like, all I'm saying is if they walk away with this, that is an unbelievable win for Bob Iger. I just can't imagine that DeSantis would allow that to happen. But if that does, kudos to Iger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
kudos to Iger for doing that. And it's just kind of hard. It's hard for me to believe that he would pull that off because he was one of the first ones to stand up there and say, "I stand with the president on this." I believe this bill would do harm to our LGBTQ,
people.
Yeah. Community.
Yeah. So, no, I find it hard to believe that would ever happen. I think there may be some kind of compromise that they reach, but both men are going to want to save face. Both of these guys are masters of the universe, and neither one of them is going to want to lose face on this one. And DeSantis would eat a huge sandwich if he comes back and like, Reedy Creek can do whatever it wants to do again. We're good.
We worked it out. It's all good. I mean, it's all crazy now especially because reports of Trump entering to the campaign in the 2024 campaign, which is just 2 years away. So a lot of this stuff is just going to be so much grandstanding. It's going to be nuts.
100%
I will say this. I feel like this is just me personally, my opinion. I feel like this is a non-issue. It's going to be a non-news story. Whatever's going to happen will be happening behind the scenes, and we'll never hear another thing about it.
I can see that.
I can see that. Yeah.
DeSantis, I think DeSantis is going to run for president, and that no one will give two craps about Reedy Creek, and then it'll just all be business as usual.
Well, but I mean, you don't think that DeSantis would be presumed to be somewhat weaker, or that Donald Trump, when in the debates, would point out, "Look at this guy. He sat there and caved to Disney, gave him back their, Reedy Creek district."
Yeah, I mean, I can see that happening, but I think that DeSantis himself will not care about Florida anymore. He's going to just worry about the presidency, and that's going to be his main thing. And then whatever happens in Florida, he's not going to care about at all.
Okay. Hey, look, you're the political man. I'm going to step back and listen to what you have to say on this one, because I don't really know. I just kind of think that sounds kind of. It sounds to me like, hey, somebody's going to lose face here. Somebody's going to lose face.
Yeah, I mean, but if it's not in the news every day anymore, then no one loses face because no one cares anymore. It'll be some other issue that is going to come up.
It's just Disney's for kids, right?
I think. Yeah. No, I really think it's just more of this was something that he could stand up to his base and say, "Hey, I'm standing up for this. I'm doing that." Now that he's been reelected as governor and has his eye on the presidency, I think it's going to go away.
No, look, I know. Look, I found the tweet. "I'm with the president on this!" ! If passed, this bill will put vulnerable young LGBTQ people in jeopardy. That's what Bob Iger tweeted out when President Biden tweeted out, "I want every member of the LGBTQ plus community, especially the kids who will be impacted by this hateful bill, to know that you are loved and accepted just as you are. I have your back, and my administration will continue to fight for the protections and safety you deserve." That's what Bob Iger co-signed. And you're going to tell me Florida is going to be totally cool with giving this guy his thing back? I don't think so. I don't think DeSantis is going to do that. I mean, I hope I'm wrong.
Part of me thinks that they'd be foolish not to, only because that's the only reason why that area of Florida or Florida in general is even something that's even talked about.
Yeah, but if you're Florida, I mean, like, what's Disney going to do? Relocate?
Well, you're right. That's the thing. They can't exactly relocate.
Right. Like, look, we're going to tax y'all. We're gonna take some of y'all's money now. Don't open your mouth again.
But then they got to incur the debt that Disney's accrued. And that's part of the conversation as well.
Wait, I'm confused.
There's debt that Disney has within their own particular, and we're getting to
weeds
here. Yeah,
yeah. Then let's not.
That people. Yeah. There's a whole weird balance thing that that would be passed on to the taxpayers that has to deal with debt.
Oh sure, yeah. No, I have no doubt Disney will pass the bill to us.
You don't say.
I have no doubt of that.
Yeah.
But the idea that Florida would pass up on that money.
No.
Just to make a point.
No one passes up on money.
I think we won't be in the room when it happened, and maybe Lee's right that it just some kind of resolution happens and they work it out, and it's a win-win, as business people say.
If some kind of resolution happens and the resolution is status quo,
that's fine.
Bob Iger wins.
Yeah,
DeSantis loses.
Yeah, so be it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
Anybody with a memory or the internet can look up and see what Bob Iger said about that bill.
I don't know. Well, I'll be curious to see how all this plays out now that he's in charge. And
100%. I'd like to look into this a little bit more. I mean, again, it involves getting into the icky world of politics.
Yeah.
But
I
think there's a game there, and there's a lot of grandstanding to be had.
Yeah.
So they're going to figure out a way where both of them come out okay, where nobody loses face. I think that's what has to happen if they're going to play this game.
I just don't think that there's a way that happens. I think somebody's got to lose in this.
Well, yeah, depending on the side that you're on, it's going to view either a win or as a lose, right? So if you're on DeSantis' side and you feel like, what'd you really do there, brother? Then they may view it as maybe like you weren't as strong as we thought you were. And then maybe people on the other side be like, good for you, man. You
got one guy looking to run for president. You got another guy who's like, oh, shoot, everything we've done lately has been screwed up. I'm here to fix this mess. You tell me who's operating from a position of power here.
Yes, indeed.
I'm just saying.
If it's between politics...
And I don't know anything about that. I'm allergic to this crap.
You're allergic to it. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, you got to be aware of it, right? So you can make a good decision for it. And Disney does pump in, you can research it, and Disney has pumped in a lot of money to both sides.
Yeah.
So somebody's benefiting somewhere,
Always.
And so whoever wants that money, if DeSantis is running against Trump, he's going to need the money, capital, to go up against that dude.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Which requires a lot. If DeSantis can get it to where he's on they're on his side, or at some point they will devote some amount of money to him, then I think he tries to figure out a way to do it.
I can see that, and I think you're right. I also think it's just as probable that Trump will look at him. He caved to Disney.
He'll just get other companies on.
Mickey Mouse beat him up. I don't stand.
Bob Iger made him his bitch.
Yeah.
I don't look forward to getting into all that.
I don't
seeing
either.
All that, but it's like I'd be curious to see how this plays out.
Yeah, no, I would too.
That's definitely a thing that Iger has to deal with it. Now,
yes.
Also on that day, the same day, Friday, the Wall Street Journal reported that Iger appears likely to abandon plans to centralize marketing spending decisions at Disney, which was an idea that infuriated creative executives at the company. And to give you some background on this, under Chapek, the company hired the consulting firm McKinsey & Company in recent months to review Disney's operations and identify redundancies and cost-saving opportunities. Right? So better ways to maximize your money. Gotcha. One potential change that McKinsey suggested that Chapek's reign was exploring is to take decisions about spending on marketing and publicity for films and television programs out of the hands of studio creatives and instead centralizing them in another part of the company.
Well, that explains Strange World.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the people that know the product, they're taking those marketing strategies out of their hands to somebody else, somewhere else in the company to market and promote.
Wow.
Okay,
That's one of the things that McKinsey.
I can
was
see the
suggesting.
logic in that. Yeah. Obviously, if I'm putting out a film, I'm going to be like, I want everybody to know this is coming out. And if I've reviewed the film and I'm like, oh shoot, we backed a $20 million turkey here. Bury this son of a bitch with no need to throw good money after bad.
Right. Yeah.
But having not seen Strange World, it's hard to comment.
Yeah, it's kind of like a conflict of interest, right? Like, hey, I'm in, I want to market this thing. Just so happens I'm in charge of marketing. So that's convenient. But then you also put it in the hands of someone who knows nothing about marketing, and that's a recipe for disaster.
100%.
Yeah.
No, I wish I'd seen this movie now. Really, man, shoot. Maybe we'll have to just do a field trip to go see this movie.
Yeah, we might have to do that. Yeah.
Because, I think it's gotten a lot of flack, and, I'd kind of like to know what the hell's up with this damn movie, because that...
I've read a few online reviews from Disney fans who've said it's average at best.
Okay.
It's not very good movie.
I'll be curious. I reserve judgment. I'd be curious to see it myself.
Yeah.
Is it a Pixar movie or is it a Disney movie?
It's Walt Disney Animation.
Okay.
Yeah, purely Walt Disney Animation.
That's why Pixar's dead, though. Like, you don't even know anymore.
Yeah, it's like taking one of Eli's comic books and telling Cameron Diaz to market it for him.
Yeah.
Still got a better shot.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, with the star power, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. 1.8. Jesus.
Oh, in Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if
Wow.
it's Rotten Tomatoes, but maybe it's like Yahoo or I don't know, but it's like, my God.
Strange
it's
World, yeah.
1.5 stars.
Oh, gosh.
So it is possible that they looked at this movie and like, yeah, no, we ain't marketing this because this movie sucks.
It didn't look right. The commercial I saw the few times that I did, it just looked like a bunch of weird people running on clouds.
Well, it never really communicated what it was about in the commercials. There was nothing I saw in the commercials like, ooh, that looks good.
Right.
So
Well,
maybe,
they didn't even start it early enough for me to even get interested about it.
yeah.
I have no idea. I didn't know about it until like the weekend of it was supposed to come out.
Hey, man, look, people didn't like Onward, and we did. So,
I'd be curious.
Yeah, I'm curious too.
All right. So also on this day, Friday, Disney reported via the Disney Parks blog that Splash Mountain will close its doors forever on January 23, 2023. This was tacked on. Actually, this closing date was tacked on to an announcement of a new scene in Tiana's Byland Adventure ride, which is set to replace it.
Well, thank Christ they're finally putting it out of its misery. I mean, like they stopped taking care of it a long time ago.
Big time.
Yeah, I mean, this is to me at this point in time, it's like a mercy killing. I'm serious.
Absolutely. He's totally right about that.
Yeah.
If you're not going to take care of it, you might as well just put it out
Right,
of
you
its
might as well
misery.
just kill it off right then and there. I will say that the new scene I saw is the first one that really kind of gave me hope
Okay.
for this attraction.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I really kind of got to see them use characters. Because I'm sitting there like looking at this and like, okay, there's no Dr. Facilier. He's dead. This is afterwards. There's no Ray. There's, Tiana and there's Naveen.
Lewis.
Tiana, okay.
Louis.
Lewis. Okay,
Yeah.
that's 3. And
And
and I mean, it's not like you're talking about this rich ensemble movie. It was a very limited amount of characters that you can kind of pull from. And so to see that they're trying to do something with a band, but I do get the Frozen Ever After vibes with this thing that's just going to be a celebration. So, hey, Tiana's doing a fun, hey, she just opened a
party, yeah.
food, like, it's funny how
food
Tiana
truck.
went from like, yeah, I want to open my own restaurant to I want to run a Whole Foods. Like it is basically what it comes down to. And the only other thing I thought that was weird, like, is Tiana's outfit. Like, who dresses like maybe it's December?
oh, that was from Tarzan. That was from Jane from Tarzan. That's her outfit.
Is that what it is?
No, it's not. I don't know. I'm just guessing,
'cause-
but I look at it and I think Jane from Tarzan.
Like, who goes in the swamp dressed like that?
You don't?
Long sleeves, a coat, everything. No,
Those
yeah.
mosquitoes will get you every time, Dan.
That's right. You don't need off.
Well,
She's dressed up for that one winter day that we have every year.
You'll be passed out from dehydration long before the mosquitoes get a hold of you.
Yeah, it's funny you picked the outfit because I was like hoping that it wouldn't be a log or more like a big ass pirogue that they'd be floating down the bayou. I would be happy with that.
Yeah,
that'd be much
that
better.
would be creative.
That would be bad.
But that would require them to really embrace the culture of New Orleans and not just shoehorn existing IP into a.
Well,
prop.
not just research New Orleans, but go outside of New
Right.
Orleans and learn that hey, they actually use pirogues and not hollowed out logs.
But I
And
mean,
if- yeah.
hey, it's not. It's a salt mine, right?
Yeah, it's a salt mine. Yeah, it's Avery Island. That's Tabasco.
Yowza.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's all good. I'd be curious to see what has happened. But
Look, it's got to be. Look, this gave me hope. I will say that we've been negative about this because there really is no way to explain this. This salt mine thing is just hot garbage that they're just feeding you guys. And I don't know what else to tell you. There's no salt mines in Louisiana that are.
the Avery Island is a big. There's a big
yeah,
salt
but then
dome
they
in Avery
collapse, and now it's a sinkhole or something.
Island.
Or-
Yeah, something like that. But
Yeah.
there's still salt there, and so they're gonna ride through the salt mine. They're gonna splash it with Tabasco. It's all gonna be good.
Oh, so when you
And your
exit-
eyes will be like, oh,
At the gift shop, they're going to sell salt, or
That's what I was
they're
going to
sell
say.
salt at the gift shop, or like what is it?
At the end of it, it's like
Big Morton salt
Tabasco
shaker?
sauce, Morton.
no, your eyes won't be closed because of the water splashing your face. It's gonna be closed because of the vinegar from Tabasco. It's like hurting your eyes. And
You're gonna have bath salts. You're gonna eat your neighbor's
"Oh!"
face off.
I can't stand Tabasco. It's too vinegary. I rather Louisiana or Crystal.
No, look, god dang. I mean, Avery Island, Jesus.
Well, I mean, we talked about the mountain, and we discovered there's one mountain in North Louisiana that actually has a bayou attached to it. So that's what
right.
they must have based it upon that because they must have traveled up there,
No,
right?
It's all about
No, they
creativity.
didn't.
It's they figured out one little aspect. They took 99.9% of the time, life in Louisiana turns out like this. But because we're so desperate to shoehorn this in, we'll take that 1.1% and try and figure out a way to make something like that makes it.
Well, that's the thing. It's like they only came to New Orleans to research that, but the things that I'm talking about are outside of New Orleans. I guarantee you they didn't go to those places.
Oh no, 100%.
You know, so people are arguing, oh, I'm tired of people bitching about Tiana's Violent Adventure. Well, prove me wrong. You know?
Yeah.
Prove me wrong. Why am I wrong? And you're so right.
But
You
then
know?
they prostitute the characters just to get away with it, just
Yeah.
to justify it. Oh my God, she's not a restaurateur now in the swamps like you. She's a food co-op person that's looking for
Vegetables.
salts to sell, or it's
bath salts. It's for Basin. It's to promote more Basin stuff. So
All the
people go
Basin.
shopping at Basin.
But having
Basis
said
Street.
all that, look, hey, I like the idea that they were incorporating. So now we at least know we got more than one animatronic scene in there.
Yeah. No,
So
I'm
I
looking forward
did,
to it.
but again, having said like concept art always looks beautiful.
And we're a New Orleans-based podcast, so we're very passionate about New Orleans
We are.
itself. And Tiana is based in New Orleans, so yeah, I mean, you're going to hear us argue. So if you're from out of the state, yeah, talk to me.
Because because I mean, look, I get it. Like Splash Mountain Problem X, but Tiana deserved her own attraction. She didn't deserve
A shoehorn.
a hand me down. Like figure out a way to shoehorn her into this thing as
She deserves a restaurant.
right. She deserves a
She
restaurant.
deserves a killer sit-down
She
restaurant.
deserves something commiserate with her character, and her character wanted to open a restaurant, not a food co-op.
Yeah, with decent Louisiana, not
the
decent,
salt
but good Louisiana
salt.
food. Absolutely. So yeah, that's about it, man. Come Saturday, everything was a lot of marinating and speculation and articles that I found about stuff that was mentioned in the past week. Because between Monday all the way to Friday of his second week, there was a lot of stuff that was announced and a lot of stuff that happened. So this pretty much ends the second week of Iger's run at the CEO.
All right.
So there we go. What do we think? How about that?
I think we just recorded 3 shows. That's what I think.
I think so.
It was for 2 weeks.
It was
I think we
2
got a
weeks.
lot to say. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, what grade would you give Iger on the last 2 weeks?
As far as talking, A+.
100%.
As far as talking, I agree. Yeah, the
I'm with Eli
communication
on
was
this.
much better than what it was his predecessor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll give him A+.
Very good at saying something without saying anything.
Very smooth.
And
Very, very good.
as far as fixing things, I'm gonna give him an incomplete at the moment.
Yeah.
To give it a nice university grade, to be graded at another time.
Galvanizing the troops and the fan base, you got to give him an A.
Yeah.
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 I mean, come on.
And just to clarify, my incomplete is based, by the policies of my university that I work at. You get 30 days to resolve your issues. So we'll see what he does in 30 days, and I'll grade it from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, galvanizing the troops, absolutely yes. A.
So yeah, I think overall I give him a B+ in the way he handled it. The only thing I knock him off on is believability.
Yeah.
Based upon everything else, yeah.
Everything else.
He has a history.
Yeah, the ability to prove himself in the midst of a very serious challenge. I guess I would have to give that an incomplete.
To even speak on what took place, like to even cover, what the hell? That would have been my first thing at the town hall. What the hell happened? How'd y'all do this fast? Come on.
I gotta speak.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a question that wasn't reported on, huh?
Okay, because I was going to say, I didn't watch the town hall, but I expected that to be one of the things discussed, and that didn't come up, so I'm going to assume it wasn't covered.
Maybe, in the wrestling term, maybe he had a plant.
Yeah,
maybe
that's
further
who was
research.
asking it.
Maybe it was asked, but somebody is research has reported it somewhere. Maybe on Reddit.
Yeah.
If the employees of this company have a better attitude and are more comfortable with the job they're doing, I think that's an A+.
Well, that's gonna be
good about. Okay, fair.
That's gonna be tough, though.
That will impact the guest experience, and that will impact the company. If the staff, the cast members feel more appreciated, if they feel like they're if they're happy at their job, then I think that goes a long way. Whether or not it has an impact on us as guests, I don't know, but just the fact that the staff feels better that he's in place and that he's got their back, like you said, rallying the troops.
Yeah,
I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
Or whether or not it even has an impact on the workers. Maybe it just makes them feel better, but nothing really changes.
Yeah, but I was going to say the only thing with that is that he's like, yeah, but that hiring freeze thing is still happening. So those who are already in the bubble, yeah, they're probably happy out of fear at this point.
Well, it also means, hey, if you feel like you're overwhelmed, no help's coming.
Yeah, no help's coming.
All right. Well, that's the snapshot of his first 2 weeks. Maybe we'll do another snapshot out of his first month or after 2 months, whatever, depending on see what happens.
Let's just do this every week. This is easy.
We could,
this.
We could definitely do this every week.
Go
Absolutely.
this quickly.
I want world versus world too. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like
yeah.
that, too.
No, I
did.
think there's a lot of questions that we brought up on this show, and
Okay.
so a lot of
Very
things
good.
that we'll discuss in future. And yeah, I mean, Iger, you talk the talk. It's time to walk the walk. We're every podcast, everybody in the Disney fan universe will be watching eagerly to see what you
And
do.
look, we're rooting for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, we're rooting for you. We're hoping good things happen in your 2 years at this job. So good luck to you, and hopefully we have good things to report in the years to come, and we'd be curious to see how things play out. And of course, we'd love to hear all of you guys' opinions about this, your thoughts about anything that we have said, and if you want to share that, we're about to tell you how to do that in just a little bit.
Oh, Garoppolo finished for season with broken foot.
God, that's 2 quarterbacks hurt the same day.
And on that note, Garoppolo is gone. Garoppolo is out of the season. Eli's got to get new quarterback now. But he can go to magicourway.com and maybe he'll get some hints about a new quarterback. There you'll find our social media links, past episodes, and a new quarterback. If you want to share some opinions on who Eli should get, you can choose an email at show@magicourway.com or call or text us and let Eli know what quarterback to get at 1-815 a weekend. That is 1-815
Mo Weekend.
669-4226. And of course, at that number, you can also share your opinions on everything we talked about. But most importantly, tell Eli what quarterback he should get. We're recording this on Sunday, December 4th.
Ouch.
And Garoppolo is out.
Ouch.
So anybody in fantasy leagues out there, take note.
Dang.
Take note. Take note. And to further support Eli, in addition to getting him a quarterback, he does things with comics. Eli, tell him what you got going on, sir.
Mr. Garoppolo, if you're listening while you're out, thank you for the 2 weeks you were able to help me, and you can always
2 weeks.
go.
Just 2 weeks? That's it?
I think we did a trade at one, and then in another league, he was my backup.
Oh, okay, fair.
But
fair.
I did like him, and I was starting to root behind him. So I do hate to hear that in general that someone gets hurt and can't play.
Yeah.
But God dog it, I was in that playoff fight somewhat. Anyway, I'm hurt. I'm trying to bask.
Help Eli out. Help Eli out.
Yeah.
No touch. Yes.
Weekend.
Okay. So look, as always, please visit the Ivory Comics website. You'll see the books that I've created. Project Geisha, Savages, and of course the Molly Be Damned. There's a link to the Magic Our Way podcast. You don't miss an episode. Opinion, it's all synergy here. That's how we do it. We don't need Iger to do it.
Nope.
That's right. As well, you can find me in social media. So Facebook.com, Eli Ivy, I'm right there as long as you're a real person. Nice to meet you. Tell me what quarterback to get. But if you're a bot, hopefully you can score 30 points next week. Just tell me you're and I'll just put you in my draft lineup. That works for me. Project Geisha, you can find that. So Facebook.com/Project Geisha. Also, Instagram, I'm right there. I'll still take those quarterback recommendations as well at EIV504. And of course, on Twitter, I can be found at Hancock10166. So if you appreciate the madness, then you're bringing me to gladness unless you're a quarterback that I can't use. Thank you very much. I don't know what I'm going to do now.
And look, if you want to take a vacation to go visit Epic Universe, which might open up before Tron, who knows? Just kidding. Of course, you can also book a Disney vacation with Lee. Lee, tell them how to do this, sir.
Give me a call at 832-431-1621. You can email me at lee@magicourway.com. On Facebook, you can find me at facebook.com/Lastovica Travel. That's LASTOVICA Travel. Instagram, you got a friend in Lee Travel. TikTok, you got a friend in Lee. And if you do any of that, we'll get you hooked up and booked up with no
Hasselvika!
In addition, there's so many ways to support the show as a whole, and you can find them all on our website, magicourway.com. Plus, if you want to elevate your support of the Magic Our Way podcast, go to patreon.com/Magic Our Way. There you'll find 6 awesome tiers to support this show. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. We also want to thank you for being a loyal listener, and we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are always welcome in the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So, Mohicans, we say Kwaherini. My name is Kevin.
I'm Danny.
Magic out.
I have every intention of eating those bananas for breakfast, but I still somehow end up with tacos.
There once was a man named Bob. He once was on top, but the board said stop, and now he's out of a job.
We got a rhyme instead of a food this
Oh
time.
my God.
That's crazy.
Mother Goose over there.
Look